Son, do you have any idea the joy a man feels pulling a 70-pound king mackerel out of the waters around Jackal Island?
No, sir, I don't.
That makes two of us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cheap Seat Critics podcast, where today we are covering London Has Fallen, continuing the Has Fallen trilogy. And hello, I am one of your hosts, a geeky writer.
I'm Crimson Maroon.
And I'm Sprinks, and if you're listening from London, you can find us over on Facebook, Instagram. We're also over on Twitter. We're on Blue Sky, Blue Sky. We have a letterboxd, our average out numbers and graphs covered. We also have visual side of things over on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify. But we also have, if it's your cup of tea, Governor, over on plenty of audio platforms as well.
I'm going
Why
to
do
Sorry
roll
about
the
the
intro,
I hear
accent.
Mike.
you keep that up the entire podcast?
Nope, I probably won't. Hey, let's run into that intro. All right. Yeah, no, there was no way I'm keeping that up the whole
No?
podcast.
It'd be
It's
pretty
probably didn't even.
entertaining.
Dang it.
It probably sounded half of it probably sounded Australian.
It kind
Yeah,
of did.
I was confused. It did lean, it was Australian in the first half. You pulled it back, though.
Yep, yep, chili.
uh, yeah, so we're continuing the Has Fallen trilogy. And as someone who's been to the UK a couple times now, I got saddled with hosting this one. I guess we'll dive into our histories first, gentlemen, as we always do, and we will start with Springs.
Awesome. This is a movie that has fallen and Gerald Butler on the face of it, and I'm like, oh, this is one of those movies. That's it. Don't think I've seen the trailer. Maybe I have. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I confused it with another fallen trailer. Never seen this movie before, and pretty darn blind to the whole film.
Yeah, very valid take, sir. And how about you, Crimson? What's your
All
long and
right.
illustrious history with this
That's
film?
very long. I talked about it in the previous one being Elvis Has Fallen that I had seen the first and the third of this trilogy. I'd never seen the second one, being this one, London Has Fallen, because I didn't know it even existed. So this was the first time I saw it. I never saw the trailer. I just knew it existed once I found out years after I saw Angel Has Fallen that this was a trilogy. So I'm pretty much blind. I hardly remember Angel Has Fallen, so I don't remember if there's references to this or not in that. But that's all I got.
Alrighty. I've heard of the Has Fallen trilogy. Like with other uh, parts of the Has Fallen trilogy, I've seen clips and isolated incidents, but this is my first time for the podcast. Never seen it before, and I am didn't know the third one existed. Never heard of Angel Has Fallen. And I guess with that, I can move into the facts section. Um, if anyone, unless anyone has any last minute things they would like to add to their history.
I've never been to London,
I, you know what?
but I've
Me
seen
neither.
Harry Potter.
But I've seen a.
Okay, that
I've
doesn't
seen
count.
a lot of things that take place in London.
There's
But
a lot of things
yeah,
that happen in London.
I mean, I think Rise of the Silver Surfer has a whole London scene.
I remember Thor: The Dark World also had a huge London
Oh, throw the
stuff.
flushed away. That's in London.
All right. London Has Fallen has a runtime of 99 minutes with a release date of March 1st in the Hollywood, March 4th in the United States and the UK, March 10th in Germany, and then July 4th in the Czech Republic.
Odd.
Interesting.
I just thought that was I just thought that was funny, so that's why I listed all the dates.
Do you have the year?
Um, yeah, 2016.
Perfect.
I believe each
Don't worry, I was
one
getting
was.
there.
I think each one was 3 years apart on release.
No, that's good. I'm gonna weigh this movie on that. It came out in 2016.
Yeah, uh, you know, the only stiff competition it's getting this year is a film called. Well, Star Wars is back supposedly at this point. So, anyway, Has a budget of a 60 million and a box office of 205.9 million. So almost quadrupled its returns.
Warrants a third.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's getting weighed.
Oh yeah, it's getting
Uh,
weighed.
he's probably going to complain about CG later on, which is might be valid. I don't know. We'll see. What do you
I'm
mean?
looking at my notes. Get your eyes away from me.
I'm just guessing. I know what you were about, sir. We've been doing this podcast with you for 3 years.
Well,
Uh,
that's usually how the time it came out is irrelevant to Sprinks. Is typically the effects. Is this acceptable?
yeah,
Came out the same year as Doctor Strange. So
Did not have the Doctor Strange
yeah,
budget though.
yeah. Or the slave dungeons. You have to remember that. Uh, and with that, I'll move into some of the more fun facts. Remember, all these are taken off the internet and must be taken with a grain of salt. But just we're going right in. Uh, due to scheduling conflicts, Morgan Freeman and Gerard Butler don't appear in the same scene together in person. The scene in the hallway at the White House uses body doubles and doesn't show faces. If you thought why that scene would look terrible, that is why. Because I certainly thought it would look odd.
I see. Hmm. That explains it.
Yeah. Uh,
Trickery.
Olympus Has Fallen 2013 director Antonio uh, Fuca. I, I I don't know how to pronounce this person. I don't know how to pronounce the director's name for Olympus Has Fallen, so apologies. But the Olympus Has Fallen director refused to direct the sequel because he didn't like the script.
Interesting.
Wonder if I have comments on the script. We'll see. Throughout the whole series, Gerard Butler obviously tones down his Scottish accent since his character is American. Notably, in scenes with his fellow Scottish actors Brian Larkin, Butler's accent returns. This is actually a common linguistic phenomenon and generally happens unconsciously. People with multiple accents will generally conform to their accent to match whoever they are talking with at the moment.
Yeah, makes
So,
sense to
fun
me.
psychological stuff, but character inconsistency.
I wonder how many takes they went with before saying, screw it. It's fine.
Well, we don't know. Maybe Mike went to Scotland for a couple of years before he joined the Secret
Ooh.
Service, and
Oh, they should
he picked up
establish
an
that.
accent. Maybe the third one.
True. It's a problem, and maybe the third one will fix it. We'll see.
That helps. If Angel is in Scotland,
Could be. Who knows?
because I
That
still
would
don't
be
know what
rad.
Angel is.
That'd be a
I
really
do.
cool location, though, for shooting a plane crash in the Scottish Highlands.
Maybe something.
Uh,
I mean, we've
the
covered a
jogging.
vampire movie in Scotland before. So
That is true. The jogging sequence at the start of the film was filmed in the Kingston Gardens in central London, which is why it looked so familiar and why I was confused. I was seeing it in a scene that was supposed to be in the U.S.
Of course.
oh, that is confusing.
Weird.
It's confusing if you know where they are, but they do an okay job of trying to hide it.
And it looks American.
Wait, was
to
any
me.
of this wait, was any of this shot in the US then? Because why couldn't they just film that in the US?
I feel like they filmed the at home script stuff for Gerard Butler. I feel like that was like all the studio stuff might have been done in America.
But
All the
it didn't
stuff that
have
could
to
have been
be.
done in the studio or set might have been, but I will neither confirm or deny because I have no idea.
Interesting.
Oddly enough, though Angela Bassett only accepted her role in the previous installment to work with Morgan Freeman, in this installment she did not work with him at all. Their characters share no scenes or never interact. And to be fair, she's given a little bit more to do in this one.
Yeah. Like die.
Yeah, but she has to act before she
Yes.
dies.
Yeah. We will talk about whether it's within her character the way she acted or not.
Uh,
I suppose so.
and continuing, my last fact here is continuing off of one that Crimson provided for Olympus Has Fallen. Morgan Freeman has openly said in interviews that he did the movie strictly for the money. In a press junket for this film, he started singing the first few lyrics of the OJ's hit "For the Love of the Money" and then said these large production action films pay well. Uh, the rewards are many. You got a film that everybody's going to respond to. They're going to go see, and they're going to go and go see it. It's going to make its money back. They'll be right out there making another movie, and you never know when they're going to call you back.
Wow. I respect it, but I'm also disappointed at the same time.
I just liked that one because he said he was singing
It's all about the
in the
money.
press trailer for this one. Yeah,
Pull them
for the
out.
love of the money. Uh, that is all it for my facts, gentlemen. For now, would
Ooh.
either of you like to add your own?
I don't have any of my own. No.
Two-Face has not been born in this yet. Maybe the next one.
Oh, you're expecting President Ben to turn into Harvey Dent?
Ben Asher
Oh, that'd
turned
be
into
something.
Harvey Dent. He's
Harvey
the
Dent
White Knight
president.
Angel
Ooh.
that has fallen. That would be funny though. That
Oh,
would be
stop
pretty good.
spoiling.
That would be pretty good.
A really weird connectivity universe. Alrighty. And I guess with Jat, can't speak. All right, with that, gentlemen, we shall jump right into our coverage. We are going to be popcorning our way through this movie, and we are going to start with the wonderful, the amazing Sprinks.
Oh boy, all the adverbs. I thought you were going on Crimson there for a sec.
It's my favorite thing to do.
Hmm. I said adverbs, those were adjectives. Sorry. Hmm. You know what? Let's start with it was pretty clear that the son Connor is not in this movie.
He's
He's
mentioned.
mentioned.
Oh, he is, but they are like, the actor's not coming back. Like,
No.
we'll just be like, he's on video call, not show you the video. He sends me these messages all the time. Not seeing him. There's not even a
Every
photo of
day.
him.
Not even a photo. Well, I did mention Olympus
He
Has
just went on
Fallen,
his first date last night. And,
that the actor
okay.
never came back, but they never hired like an older person, because this was 6 years into the presidency, and then in Olympus Has Fallen, he talking about re-election. So
Re-election.
this is
So he was
probably
in his
about
third to last year.
2 to 3 years after Olympus Has Fallen.
Yes, because the events of this start with the missile strike and then says 2 years later, which is in his second campaign.
So that's enough time for them to fix the
Oh, yeah,
White
that
House,
was my
right?
Sure.
That was something I wrote
Ye-
down as a talking point. Was it enough time?
Yes. Restoring all the artwork and everything else, though, probably not. I think they could rebuild the house structure. That wouldn't be much of an issue. I think it's everything else that's the problem.
I guess that's why they only show you really the Oval Office, and that's it.
It would
Yeah.
have been a nice
And the
reference,
hallway.
though, where they're still talking about construction or something. Or he walks
Yeah.
by a hallway, he's
I
like, darn, I missed the pillar that used to be here, or something. It'd be kind of a nice little reference to, or nod to, the previous film.
Yeah, again, my issue with that is just the artwork is just would be what takes the time. I think they could get most of the White House back in order by then.
Yeah, probably.
Uh,
Certainly presentably, anyways.
yeah.
Just like an easy noticeable thing. I'm like, oh, Connor's not in this movie.
Yeah, I don't
It's
think he's
true.
really needed, though, with what they have put forth. But
No,
he is
no, he's not
noticeably
a
absent.
hostage idea or
The only scene
leverage.
I would have wanted to see him is when the president's face is being broadcasted.
Yeah,
That would
that
be
was
the only
sort of,
time I think that would have been necessary to show him.
Ooh, yeah.
Papa, not again.
But yeah, otherwise, he's
You're in
not.
trouble.
Otherwise, he is. I would agree broadly. He's not really needed for this film.
We need President
Um,
Asher to be FDR'd. Let's get him a third term. He's doing pretty well.
he's holding out, man. But the luck factor might be coming in a bit hard here.
Maybe a little bit in a couple moments.
uh, my first note on this film is surprisingly enough has to do with the soundtrack.
Ooh.
Um,
Soundtrack.
and I know I don't really do soundtrack notes very often, but I quite like the the
OST
military
scores.
drums mixed with vocals that start out the film here.
My confusion.
Uh,
The
hmm?
score. Sorry, soundtrack and score. I don't. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you
I just
differentiate the
already
two.
meant.
Sorry.
Yeah, soundtrack is like the chosen songs already licensed to be incorporated.
Right. The score for the movie has a blend of military drums and vocals, and it's kind was for me. It was kind of reminiscent of the Battlestar Galactica soundtrack from the early 2000s. So I quite enjoyed. Surprisingly, I enjoyed the music in this one a little bit more. At least the score of it.
I think I can agree. As I said,
And
with the
the
first
reason
one
for the
sounded kind of more generic,
Generic
kind of. This
military
one
music.
had more beats to it of
yeah
like emotion or build. I really like the little score that was played when Lynn was dying. I think that helped that scene and elevate that with the emotion. And when Mike said, "I'm going in solo into the building," the music of like intensity to build with him of like his solo mission, I thought that was really good. So I would agree.
Yeah, I actually looked up to see who did the score because it sounded so familiar. Because I'm not as in depth with Sprinks as far as recognizing like what people can do. I do recognize some motifs a little bit, some more from just the people I've listened from the soundtracks and stuff I've listened to more. Trevor Morris did the score for this. For the podcast, he did Castlevania. I know he did that one for sure. He's also I'm more familiar though with his video game scores that he's done.
Did he do RE5 by chance? Because you referenced Battlestar. I felt RE5 in the beginning, driving through the dirt. I don't know if you felt that, Sprinks, because that's how RE5 kind of opened up. Chris driving.
Now that you bring it up a little,
The music sounded the same, and the vocalist was pretty similar in that moment as well. Uh, that was the vibes I wrote. I wrote down RE5 at the beginning of this.
I'm gonna look it up.
That'd be very interesting. But I guess on the beginning of this, we start with like news talking about terror attacks and events that are happening that presumably are connected to Amir.
Okay, I do. Sorry, I do have to ask real quick. Is this the game or the movie?
The game.
yeah, the
Okay.
game is what I'm playing. What
Yeah,
I'm finding out is that
and no,
Kota
that was Kota Suzuki.
Suzuki.
Yeah.
Okay. No, certainly not the movie. But I do like the soundtrack of the movies, the general theme for it. Anyhow, that's a tangent. Uh, the new stuff I think is a fine introduction. Olympus Has Fallen started with audio bites as well, but that one was of like historical figures speaking. This one's just the news reporting of terror attacks that are connected to the main terror group that's focused in this. Which I guess it didn't have a name, did it? The terror group. It's just um, the family.
Yeah, they didn't really have a name. They just all it was all under Mir
The
Rakawi.
yeah the
Barkawi?
Yeah,
Barkawi family.
Macaulay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but his organization didn't really have a name.
Mm-hmm. So I think it was a fair introduction and starting the movie on the origin or motivation of the villain. I think was a decent choice. If they didn't have this and it was just told later, the U.S. killed my daughter in a airstrike, wouldn't be as impactful. But it does bring up
Yeah,
questions of how everybody freaking survived except the daughter. I wish they got more into that because he was
yeah.
like in the middle of that
Honestly,
party.
honestly, I thought only the son was going to survive the way that it was framed because it shows the son like leaving the tent, heading towards the building where he could have been at least protected by some of the blast.
Yeah.
So I did think that it was weird that everybody survived in a weird way, considering the proximity. I thought the son was going to be the only one that survived it.
So the what was it M8 really screwed up, or G8 M8 G8 G8 really
My
dropped the ball.
six or no, the G8
The
Security
G8.
Council, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I do like that they had an MI6 asset, and he just as soon as he relayed the information, he just immediately left, which is valid. But also, if he stayed on site, he could have confirmed target deaths. So, like, if he could have just left and then drove back.
Yeah. I mean, they did know he survived. It is said that later. It's not like, oh my gosh, I thought we killed you 2 years ago. They've acknowledged he's been
Yeah,
hiding this whole time. So it is in question of how he got away if they knew about it, but that's 2 years of them working that out, I guess.
yeah. Just as it was 2 years of them planning this great event we'll see.
It only needs to work once. All right.
It's that's what they say. Sprinks.
That's me. What's so many things to go to? Let me go to a big chunk. I took 2.5 pages of notes on this, and I'll go over a big chunk of my first page. It's very interesting that I thought the premise of this was trying to figure out after the events of the beginning here. I fully thought that Amir was dead. I don't know how he survived that missile strike, being that he was like in the middle where it all happened. I don't know how he got away with just a limp.
Yeah, that
I,
by the way, that's plot armor. I have an issue with that. That's pretty high on my
yeah,
scale.
yeah. It's never explained how he like if he saw it coming and ducked under something, or like there was a secret compartment in that little area to get under, or but nothing. It just striked. Thought he died. He wasn't. Um, But I thought that was a little setup with the communication that he was having with the that one officer he had about there was a compromised team they had, and he's like, "Oh, well, they're all compromised." And he goes, "Well, there was a German, was it a German general, and who got killed?" And he goes, "Oh, make sure you target the rest of his family, that they're all wiped out." And I'm like, "Okay, they have a thing going on with the German situation." So then when we see all the prime ministers and the presidents being introduced, I went, okay, something's up with this German lady who gets the white rose. And I'm like, okay, that rose has got to be poisoned. It's laced with something. I'm like, they're trying to target the German, but then there's like all these other, prime ministers introduced and everything. And off of the first movie, that was very big on locations and times and introduction of names. I went, okay, I'm going to write down all these names. It didn't bloody matter because within 5 minutes they're all dead.
It mattered because you
Yeah,
know
it
who
was.
was who. You know, the guy on top of the
Yeah, I
tower was
really want to know the
Irish, and the guy in the
yeah
boat
the
was
Italian
French.
prime minister and
Yeah.
Antonio Gusto got his name written right here. Doesn't matter. I thought this was going to be like a mystery thing where it's like, oh, this little dirt that this guy's got on this person and the information they have over this person and how President Ben's going to like connect all. No, it doesn't matter. They're all dead.
That would have been a very interesting movie, though. Like they had to figure out who was responsible.
Yeah, who's actually a bad guy? Who's a good guy? Who's aiding who? Like a game of Risk kind of thing, like all these things working together.
Live
I thought,
action
oh wow, this is
Risk.
very interesting.
Get on it, Hollywood.
Well, I'm just like they're incorporating all these different countries all together in one place. It's like, oh, interesting. Who's the bad? Like, what's the connection to the events of what happened at the beginning of this movie and the little hints they dropped in to now? And I'm like, this could be really good. No, no, dropped.
I was with you with the rose
So
though. I thought it was gonna like blow up in her face or something. But no, she just got shot by some royal guardsmen who are somehow infiltrated or
I
converted,
had
which is
Yeah,
like
there
yeah,
is
that
impossible.
I didn't like that. It's like we are the most heavily guarded, armored place. Like all these big names are coming in one location for this funeral. Everything's gonna be protected. We got snipers on every perch. We got choppers in the air. We got everything.
and as it turns
And I'm
out,
like, okay,
everybody's a plant.
everyone has a
The whole
gun.
police force
All these
is
like quote unquote
corrupted.
civilians just pull out guns, and I go, how'd they get by?
No, that's the
It,
I think the biggest problem with the film is how they got all this to work.
Yeah, there's
well,
like
they
oh,
had
they had
years of
2 years
planning.
of planning. Yeah, that's the only thing that this film has in defense of what fucking happened. So they skipped
You have
the
an
AC-130
excuse.
problem, thumbs up, but they have created so many more logistical problems. So right, the
The
issue
only way for
here's
it
a
to
con-
work for this whole plan is if everyone was in on it. If everyone was converted, then that makes sense.
at least half of everybody was converted because a lot of at the very beginning, most of the people turned around and shot the one person that was like
Yes.
not
Yes, but
converted.
for it
But
being half, they still bypass the other half, and that's
yeah,
the problem.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
I mean,
So
this is it's the whole premise of the movie, and there's no explanation to it. I do have it labeled, I think, as the highest damage. It is a problem.
Hail
yeah, it
Hydra.
is.
I don't have any way around it.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's I nice reference, Crimson. I agree. We'll get to that one day. Um, in compare, right, with Olympus Has Fallen, Kang's logistics are sensible to a point. Like I said, I do think they're undermanned. The Secret Service lost brain cells, but what they did as far as the plan once the ground attack begins, it makes sense what they do. Here, though, I have no idea how they got everybody in position. I don't know how, because at least Kang's logistics, I take issues with it, but at least they're present. I can infer I can at least make some
Well,
inferences on
It's at least
Kang's,
1%
Kang's
feasibly
logistics.
Kang has
possible.
set up.
This is not.
Yeah, he has infiltrated on the inside. He has his team outside. He has the ramming cars. He has the suicide bombers. The A-130. He's got like all these steps
Turrets,
to all
Yeah,
anti-air, the
block
and
people with
he's a
Hydra.
distraction and
former
everything.
Secret Service agent on his staff. So
Yeah, these lackeys in this movie just are there. We don't know how
yeah,
they got in. I don't know how the guy with the bomb planted on the
I'm,
Canadian Prime Minister. How'd he get that bomb
all
past anything?
all I know, all I know is that they have a mole in MI6, and they know the schedule of everyone. But that does not excuse everyone else's security.
No, it doesn't.
No.
And they even tried some degree of patchwork, which I think made it even worse, where they referenced, I can't find it in my notes, but it was like 17 officers found dead, 30 unaccounted for, which means
Yeah.
they're swapping out uniforms. It's not they were planted, they were actually just killing officers and putting on clothes. So it's even less in
Which is
depth than I would have thought it would be.
yeah, because the issue with that, right, is if that happened, I think people would notice that their coworkers aren't showing up.
Yeah, this isn't
Yeah.
like The Dark Knight where Joker and his guys infiltrate the police march the
Yeah,
day of kind of thing.
yeah. And to be fair, the with Joker's police guys, he only needed 8, which is the firing squad. So the only people you have to deal with in that instance, right, is you have to take out the person who's in charge of assigning that schedule, and then you're good. Because in uh, man, it's there's so much wrong with this. This is also probably the highest on my damage ladder as well, because the entire film relies on the premise of this attack working.
Yes.
How did
And
the
rather
hacker
than an
guy hack
expedition
the
dump
entire power
from
grid? I don't know. He's just a hacker.
well, he hacked a good amount and then they just blew up the radio tower or communication tower
Communication tower,
or
yeah.
whatever. But that doesn't really matter because they still have feed at the end of the movie.
And
Yeah.
sat
Hey,
phones
do
that
you?
say they somehow jammed somehow.
Yeah. Hey, do you know? Do you
Just
remember
lucked out.
how this militant like armor group of like over 200 people all occupy one building in all of London, and
And no one notices?
no one notices? I feel like
It's abandoned.
it's still in the heart of London.
Dude, it's worse that the was it head of security or whatever his position was.
Vice president picks up their
Um,
electricity after 3 weeks or something.
yeah, like
He's like, "Oh, we checked on it for you."
yeah, the head of security guy even said that it's empty and abandoned, which means he knew about the building. I'm not talking about
Yeah,
the trader one, the other one.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about
Just knew the
the
construction
Scotland
was
Yard
going.
guy,
Yeah,
Oliver
Scotland Yard.
Queen's stepdad.
Hey,
Yeah.
don't worry. I wrote everyone's freaking names down. Hey, that is Kevin Hazard, Scotland Yard chief.
Chief, that's it. Yeah, I'm just gonna
That
refer
guy.
to him as the chief. He's also Mr. Sands in Limitless, the TV show, which only had one season, unfortunately.
Of
Would
course you
recommend.
would know that.
Uh, but yeah, he acknowledged that's an abandoned building. This building, specifically, How do you know that? And if so, how do you not know it's been taken over? I'm confused.
Takes up his commute time to get to the building.
He drives by it every day to go to
Construction
work.
going on.
Such, yeah. Um, one the one positive aspect I see in all this logistical stuff is the hint that the MI6 agent is the traitor, because he's like, "Why didn't you tell me that you moved up the president's schedule?" And Banning is like, "Yeah, well, rule number one is you always keep the president moving ahead of schedule or not on schedule to purposely throw things off."
Yeah, to limit people who know the
Yeah.
president's whereabouts.
Yeah, so I do like that, and that's how the president survives, is because one, plot armor, but two, also because they were ahead of the terrorist plot, essentially. Hence why the MI6 agent was like, "Why wasn't I informed?" So there's layers that go into that line of dialogue, and then I think this is the only positive I have going into all this logistical stuff.
And then there's the sheer incompetence of the other country's security. Why is the French president
That
exposed sitting in a boat?
that is a hit to subjective for me. That this feels like a very big American propaganda movie, and like really making the incompetence of every other nation's prime minister and president lackluster or like very weak and no defense.
I was
Yeah,
expecting the
I
French prime minister to get shot in the head, but for some reason they blew up a boat
No,
next
he
to him.
gets hit. Yeah, a
for
boat with the
some reason
biggest
they
sound
explode
wave
a
I think I've
giant
ever seen in a
boat.
movie.
That was citywide. That was crazy how
It
big
was
that
it
was.
was a comical sound wave. It was like Godzilla level. Like
It was big.
it was baffling.
It was pretty funny.
Overkill.
Yeah, I would say a lot of the beginning here got to funny bad territory for me.
Yeah, but I
Uh,
don't think they were aiming for funny bad.
well, I don't think they were
I
ever
mean,
funny
it's
bad
over
either.
the
I just found
top.
it funny that they were like, you said it yourself, Springs. Like it feels like it's a very, it feels like an American propaganda to a certain point. Um,
It does. The Americans are like, "Oh, we got the defense. We can get the president here. We saved the day. We got in the choppers. We got out." Like,
like I said, I mean, so right, the Americans would focus on their part a lot because like the president would be the number one concern for the Americans. But it would still help out with the British stuff because the British are the ones that are losing control of everything and stuff like that. It's I mean, especially with the monologues that happened later in the film from Banning, I that's definitely where I just felt the propaganda coming in, a little too much for my taste.
America is more than just a building and a flag.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll be around here for 1,000 years, and I laughed at
yeah.
that for a completely different reason. uh,
No, I got the funny bad
Asgard is a people.
when I got the funny
yeah, but
bad
that's
when it
actually
was
good.
showing the Canadian prime minister in his car, and it's like just driving, and the bomb's placed, and then terror. I'm sorry, it's really bad CGI of the car exploding. Oh, when this movie come out, what is this? And I will just say it flat out right now. I think the CGI in this whole movie looks bad.
Okay, let's get a
The film
framework. When you
benefits.
say bad, what does that mean on a scale of 1 to 10?
A 3,
Okay.
3.5 maybe.
All right, because I'm like, it's not horrendous. It's just, I think it's a little below par. That's kind of how I see the CG in this.
Yeah, I'm not at a 3. If I'm on my scale as well, I'm probably just for CGI. I'm probably 4.5 range. I do think it's below par, but I don't. I'm not as low as a 3.5. I do think the
I'm,
CGI is noticeable, but I don't think it's the worst I've seen for the era.
The
I have it low
flares
because
took
it
a
looks very cartoony.
downgrade. The flares in the
It looks very
first one look way
cartoony,
better
and
than this one.
I also have a damaged ladder with those flares.
Yeah,
We're out.
yeah,
Didn't make sense.
yeah. I agree.
No,
There's no chaff.
it made us well that, but it made it
That's
a
a joke.
problem on both ends where shoot where Marine 3 is the first chopper to go down, right?
Yeah,
Yep,
and
that's
then
first one
they had
down.
no alarm system apparently,
Yep.
and they got shot.
No. So Marine 3 went down, by the Stinger rockets. Marine 1 fired flares on the curve around the bridge when they're being chased again. Fired 2 more flares than Marine 2. So they both were flying by, and Marine 1 fired flares twice to get rid of the Stinger rocket. And then it came in on comms, Marine 1 flares out, and I paused and I wrote down, okay, so there's 2 left in Marine 2, and the ones that the president has. And then I pressed
And
play
then
and it said,
immediately over the radio.
Marine 2 out of flares. And I went, okay, these choppers were now outfitted with the same amount of flares. That's not right. That doesn't make sense.
That is correct. That is a logistical issue that I took issue with as well. They every you would be standardized both well flares and
They'd be
chaff
at their max
or
capacity.
yeah. There's no reason they wouldn't be at their max capacity. They're escorting the fucking president.
And they're the both same type of chopper.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say it now. I think they would have made it away scot free if Marine 3 got an alarm that they were gonna get hit with a stinger.
Oh,
They,
maybe,
they
or
would have
yeah,
had
or
some
at
more
least
flares at least.
said,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Exactly. Like I think they would have gone away scot free because I have no reason to believe they wouldn't have gotten scot free.
I do appreciate the plan though of like Plan B is the stingers. Like they had contingencies if certain
Yes.
officials got away from the initial attacks. So got to give props where they can be laid. uh,
Yeah. There are some layers to this plan. They're on the scale of like Kang to this.
yeah, I agree.
Definitely a bit of a downgrade.
I will say I do like the sacrificial play.
He
Like
stole it
Marine
from
Yes.
2,
me.
you're gonna have to make it. And say, and I did like that.
That's one of my favorite
I'm like,
things
It
in the
is a
wow,
good.
okay,
movie.
that's
I thought it was so cool. Uh, where they said Marine 2 prepared for sacrifice, and then the slow mo just tilt as it tries to block it. I thought it was pretty cool. Heroic.
Yeah. I also have praise for that because that's right there's commitment to the cause, and that's what they would do for the president. So it's a good way to keep the
yeah.
stakes raised, even though every world leader in the Western world just got fucking smoked.
Look, audience, we may throw some punches at this movie and it might start to bleed, but we're there with the towel to, you know, to
Wipe it
be
up a
like,
little
it's
bit.
okay at a couple parts.
We
Yeah.
can blotch
Yeah,
the
Then
but
we'll
we're
throw another
nice
punch.
boxers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
so something I wasn't a big fan of was Lynn in this. I think they did an okay job trying to build her up more, connecting, being like the godmother and whatnot. That's fine. I didn't like how panicky she was, and maybe I'm being a little too nitpicky and stuff, but she's like the top of the Secret Service. She should be as composed as Banning. She should be
Yeah, I
calm during stressful situations.
yeah, I
Wow.
don't. I'm not as that. I don't have that as much of as it like. I don't view it as a character assassination. I view that as like it's a character incongruity because I agree with you that she should be more composed. There's inferences I can make that would help to explain why she might not be as cool under pressure as Banning, and that just might be just hasn't been in the field for a while. She's been a desk job for the last some odd years. I think that would go a long way into helping explaining at least a little bit into why she's more panicky. And I do think to the degree that of what her job is and how she acts doesn't quite line up with what she's doing.
Yeah, I think if there was a little clip of her like being mad at herself for being this panicky, like trying to compose herself and getting frustrated with herself for failing to control herself, I think that would be way better than her just freaking out the whole time. Like she's like the
Yeah,
I
standard damsel in this, even though she really shouldn't be the damsel screaming type.
yeah. I agree. I don't like her panicness. And this is all in the chopper, you're saying.
Chopper predominant. I
it's
mean, even at
for
the gunfire at the car,
Okay.
but Chopper's
it's
I think the worst
there's
Okay.
one.
The chopper's the worst of it, yeah, but
Yeah,
it happened before then as well.
but I do like when Mike says to Ben, like, "We're gonna take a hit, brace yourself," and it cuts to, like, everyone's faces, and when it cuts to her, she's calm, looks calm, but is crying. I did like that. Like, that didn't seem like scream, like, mouth open, scream, panic. That was, like,
That was
content,
acceptance.
like, this
Yeah.
yeah, like, I could die here and be calm. I liked that, but I don't like the prior, panic.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put it as a nitpick towards her character. I do think it's incongruent, but it's not enough to where it's
I
infeasible that she could be freaking out.
Yeah, I could do a nitpick.
Yeah, I'm probably at a nick, but I weigh characters more high than you two usually, so that probably checks out. Um, yeah, I'm thinking now of what I would want because I think having her maybe freak out, but I think at some point, like during the car chase when she's like has to drive, I think she would at some point her training would have kicked back in. You know,
Oh my gosh, they got
I think that
Bronson!
might
Oh my gosh! Voight! No,
yeah
Voight's dead!
yeah I'd like to replace those at some point.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think there's a level of where I think I don't mind her freaking out a little bit, but I think I want her training to kick in at some point. If so I would probably start amending something in the car ride if I were to retool this particular Nick with the character.
Yeah. Yeah, she could have been portrayed a little better.
Yeah.
All right. Um, I'll jump to you mentioned it. I didn't get to say much on it. Crimson. I like that they gave the backstory in the beginning as well. The addition I would add on to that. It's cool that we see that the United States is somewhat responsible for it. So it's their own responsibility coming back to bite them.
Yeah. Shows more of the passion and drive of the live thing. Even though that it was an opportunity, they weren't going to probably do that. We don't really know what the plan was with the president, because
Yeah.
he was there early and got to the destination ahead of schedule. I don't know if their plan was to always kidnap and kill the U.S. president live, or if that was just the
I
opportunity he
with
got
the
away. Let's do
president.
it like this. I don't know.
Yeah, did the prime minister die? I was kind of confused on that. Did the British prime minister get killed?
No, he survived.
Yes,
He gave a speech at the end.
you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, he was dragged into the building because one of the reasons that
Okay.
they had to drive off for the car is because they had the British had pulled their essentially the rest of their State Department inside of the building for protection.
So, Leighton Clarkson, Prime Minister. Prime Minister
Yeah.
2 survived. Prime Minister 1
What
died.
for the funeral? Yeah.
Yes, by
Okay.
a heart attack, quote unquote.
Later revealed
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
not be a heart attack. I don't know how they didn't
Yeah.
find out
Very
earlier.
real.
Sorry, for a second I thought you were spinning out like a wake up dead man situation. I'm like, no, no, no. Prime Minister did die, but the one to
The one
replace
we
him,
get to see in the
yes,
movie.
Yeah.
yes.
The one that we get to see is the one that survives. It would have been interesting as well as if I was a little surprised the British didn't let the president and the Secret Service inside because they didn't know to the extent how many traitors they had in their midst. But
I
uh,
don't think they had time to understand
I
that there was traitors. It's just co- combat
yeah, I'm surprised
started.
again. They reacted really quickly and closed the doors, which is fine. I'm just surprised that they didn't immediately bring the president in with them.
Well, they followed
I think
protocol,
ultimately,
unlike the president did in Olympus's Fall.
yeah, like I said, I don't
Yeah,
have that much issue with that because I'm assuming that's protocol. That's my best read of that situation.
yeah, that's fine.
Some,
No one knew who to trust.
yeah, I wasn't a fan of the the first prime minister that died. Um, the one for the funeral, James Wilson. Um, they said he was poisoned or something along the lines of that with his medications, and that would have been discovered before the funeral happened. They were
That
there
would have been
for
found in the
the
autopsy. Yeah,
funeral. Autopsy would have been done
Yes.
already. Why was that
Well,
not
what was it?
talked about before?
It it was weird. They want to do the funeral before the autopsy because there was a line that's like the autopsy will be done in 2 weeks, but then Mike going to his wife was like, "I'll be. It's only gonna be 3 days."
No, that wasn't.
So
That was the baby being due. That wasn't the autopsy.
the baby was due for not another 2 weeks.
Yeah,
The autopsy was still gonna take time that they said in the Oval Office. I thought that they said
I
was 2 weeks out.
I didn't hear anything with that.
Okay. The autopsy was not done yet, but it was gonna take time to get the initial cause of time, and that was on the news. And I thought in the Oval Office they discussed when that was taking place, but
Oh, that doesn't make sense to me.
I didn't write it down. It doesn't make sense that it would be after a funeral.
No, it doesn't. I don't remember that being said. Maybe it did. Uh, but I'm going with what I know. I don't think that was said, so I'm going that as it is now, they should have known beforehand, and it's done. That's what I'm going to be applying to um, my
I
ratings.
I'm fine with that.
objective.
Yeah. They should have been
Yeah,
told out beforehand. I guess going off of what was her name? I don't even remember them saying her name. Leah?
Who?
I think it was Leah, the wife.
Oh, Leah. Yeah,
yeah.
she
Her
was
Um
name's
mentioned
Leah.
in the first
Yeah.
movie.
yeah.
Leah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, no. I think her going into labor in this movie would have added a more intensity, edge of your seat thing to go with her trying to get contact with Mike, but Mike is in a situation where his phone breaks or like going side by side rather than
He
just
could just
she
be in a little
going.
firefight trying to rescue the president. Honestly, he didn't even
No,
break
but
his
I'm
phone
saying
for that.
for a movie purpose of intensity, she's just like, we have 2 weeks, it's fine, and then we just see her see the news, and she's like, I gotta call Mike, and then the baby's born at the end of the movie.
I'm kind of
It
okay
like
with that
just
not
seems like an
happening.
element. It
Feels
just
like a
seems like
bit
Um,
too
an element
much.
place that could have been used for the purpose of the movie, or it's like, oh,
it's
Mike
so.
wasn't here when the baby was born.
I
Yeah, Mike. Even
guess.
when the baby's born, we don't even know if Mike was there. We could guess, but it's like, oh,
It,
that could play into their relationship if a third movie's being made. Hint, hint of like, you're always busy with work, which could be played into the resignation situation of like, what are you going to choose, the job or the family? It's like that could be all played with there, but it's completely just skipped over.
I okay. I'm 50-50 on this. I definitely see what you do. Is that I see there's potential here, but there's also a danger of like if they go down that route, it starts going down a route that's filled with far more archetypal cliches, and that will always just boil down to execution for me. So I'm in agreement that they could definitely have done more with that if they wanted. I don't think the movie necessarily needed it though for the tone of what it's going for.
Are you fine that Leah was pregnant?
Yeah, I'm fine with her being pregnant because that already is leading into the resignation stuff. In the scenario you provided, right? It would be more meaningful that he quits his job at the end.
Okay, what if this movie started where he already had a baby?
Um,
I
Because
pref-
if
essentially
he
she still
all
goes like, tell daddy goodbye, and like talks for it, with the tummy and all. So in his mind,
the
he still has a kid on the way. But what if the kid
yeah,
was already there and he's like, hey, I
I
have a
would
kid at home.
in that scenario you probably would change it. You'd probably tweak a few things between him and the president because he and the president have a few back and forth over him having
A little,
a
yeah.
kid. So those need to be tweaked. I don't necessarily have. Uh, if she had already had the baby, we wouldn't have the drama of her going into labor. So that to me would be just as serviceable as I think is what we have right now. I don't think there'd be that much difference other than we'd probably cut to her being worried a little bit more once she sees the news. So we would see her more often because she's like, we can have her like holding a crying baby as she's trying to watch the news and keep herself composed. So again, you can play with that dimension. It again wouldn't be as different as to what we get, but other than you'd want to add a little bit more tension on that end with Leah's emotions. Um,
Just think the news of London has fallen, getting to Leah could trigger a stress level of not being able to contact Mike for establishing an early labor. So
yeah,
the stress built up, and that could go into that, and then Mike wasn't there, and again, I think that could just been a buildup.
Yeah, I agree. I like I said, I don't deny that that's the route that definitely existed for the movie to take. I guess my where I defer with you is I don't necessarily. This is a case where I don't necessarily view that as lost potential. I view that as more. It was the direction they chose not to go with because I don't think that much changes in either scenario, or other than like what's going to be added on pressure to the resignation at the end, which is not really the main focus of the film.
Exactly, it changes the American
It's
propaganda soldier story of the president all to more of a character story of Mike.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if you're going to go from that angle, like I will, if we want to tone down the quote unquote American propaganda side of the story and make it more character oriented, then yeah, that's absolutely the route
And
they should have gone down.
I think that's actually a stronger route coming off of this being the second installment, where the first one was the American man saving the president of the White House. This one is international, where it takes out all the international, like killing them all, and it's like American man will get the job done, but he has these things on him and other things that are tackling him that are changed and different opposed from the first movie.
I mean, in you're kind of angling towards a definitely a few script revisions that I would also want to make because I'm also in the camp of I would have much preferred this movie be more character focused because it'd be interesting to see that like what I thought was going to happen, because I hadn't really seen the movie before, I thought that the president would escape, but Banning goes back under the president's orders to like help the prime minister, like the French president, or the. That's why we were learning all their names because Banning was going to have to go back and try to rescue other people.
Yeah, that would have been very interesting.
Yeah.
I will say this right now to you two and the audience here. I don't know anything about Angel Has Fallen, but I will be very disappointed upon covering it if Mike is like doesn't really have any connection to his kid. If it's like, yes, the kid's there, Leah's there, but it's like the mission is the whole movie kind of thing.
So you would want the kids' involvement in the storyline to some
I
capacity?
want Mike to be I have a kid at home kind of thing. Or like, what kind of parent would I be if I did this? Or is this the example I want to set forth for my child? Is it like I want that to be shown on Mike in the next movie?
Yeah.
Where it's
I
like, what
because
Leah has done this to like, this
yeah.
with my wife, and we're raising a kid, or like something with Ben, or something more of that vein of him versus it being in this movie. It's like he has a kid now, but it's never him going on about that, except one scene with Ben.
Well, he's going to have a kid now, and that comes up multiple times. He talks about it with Lynn. He talks about it with Ben. He talks about it.
Well, it's just Sprinks'
Uh,
expectations going
But that
into the next
all
one.
that all seems to be on the other character. Like the godparent with Lynn, that's Lynn's thing to shine. Mike doesn't talk about being a parent in that moment. It's like, hey, this is with Ben. That's Ben shining about Connor and how
okay.
his son is like. Mike is just like, well, what about these other questions? It's not necessarily Mike showing his insecurities or his fears of being a dad, or I think really
I
coming to light.
I think him worrying
well, I
about
think
the
that does come
outlets
up though.
and other stuff is him being a
He's wor
concerned father
he's
to
worried
be.
about more logistical stuff, like, is there enough cameras? Is it too much? There's definitely, like, some insecurities that come up in the film. The
Bulletproof
film is just
walls,
not.
great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, like, that's half joking, but it is coming out in other ways for the film, so I definitely see that aspect in Mike as it is, in a I guess since the word is we're just gonna keep using it, a non-propaganda film, I definitely would want those to be stronger. Um,
Yeah, I
I
suppose I just want more
it
serious.
it couldn't hurt to have more of those. Like, obviously the serious aspect of this is we know how devoted he is to his job. His kid is making him consider resigning. I think that's a very, very clear indication of where his heart truly lies for a lot of this. Um,
True, but then at the being popcorn, at the end of the movie, he doesn't,
yeah,
even
which
with the
again,
kid.
I yeah, exactly. Which is why I want that, as you say, that is going to be very dependent on what the third film decides to do with this relationship with Mike and his kid, and how he's going to balance his job. Because if we start the third movie and he's and his wife are separated, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be a little pissed.
I'll be mad if they play it off like the beginning of Olympus Has Fallen and Leah dies, so Mike has to look over his son like Ben has to look over Connor.
Yeah, I don't want them to retread
I
it. I
want
want
like
them
that.
to Yeah, I don't want them to dive into archetypes too much. But for what I would want based off of what this film has, because this film does have some setups for Mike as far as him transitioning into being a parent. I would want the third film to pay those off in some way before obviously the action movie starts of that film.
Yes. I think my just biggest discomfort with all being said of Mike becoming a parent and all that is I wish it was more serious in Mike versus the film playing it off more like jokes. Like, "Oh, the guys, got us all housewarming gifts for 6 cameras. Is that too much?" kinda thing. It's like, that's a joke that it's too much security, or the Kevlar mattress for the crib and all that.
I guess
Like, that's not
I
him actually
guess
giving his thought,
yeah,
really.
I guess I need more. I'm not disagreeing with you yet, but I guess I need more definition about what you mean by this needs to be. I need more seriousness from my, because I'm thinking of like the scene with Asher in the safe house. I do view that as a serious scene, and while yes, it is presented through Asher talking about his experience, Mike still genuinely is listening to what Asher has to say because he's searching for guidance in that way. And then when Lynn dies, she's telling him, "You're gonna fucking survive because you need to see your kid." So it's the weight is there,
Yes, but again,
right?
those are from those other characters.
You want a
Those are people
moment of
speaking
like,
for Mike.
yeah, you want a moment of this
I
is
want the
exaggeration.
protagonist, Mike, to speak his mind.
Yeah, yeah. I assume that's what you're angling with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Um. In terms of
People
like,
speaking about his situation is fine, but that's still them saying what you should be. That's not him either agreeing or going against them or saying
yeah.
his
I mean,
own
the
thought.
fix for this, right, is to make Mike more serious when he responds to Lynn and Asher. Like, instead of, as much as I already don't like the fact that he sends Asher outside for Lynn's death, since he is alone, they should have played on that more and had him like promise her that he was going to get back to his kid. You know,
I mean,
to play in. Go on,
oh, I was just
Crimson.
gonna pitch an alternative idea if you want to finish yours real quick.
No, no, mine's pretty much done. I would want more for, I guess, with what we have, the easiest thing to do is have Mike bounce off the characters he's talking to more, so they get their opinion out a little bit more.
I think they could
Uh,
have had a scene where Mike gets Cameron's sat phone and talks to a mirror and says um, something along the lines of saying he's going to train his kid to be better than his sons that he just killed, or some connection between the enemy being a father of the the main antagonists, something they could connect with. If you want more of a direct thing with Banning, talking
Yes,
about
but I
how
also don't.
his aspirations of being a parent.
Yes, but that also puts a little bit of a target on Banning to give the enemy intel that he has a family.
It does, and it's not perfect, but I think that would be because you got the enemy is a family. It's a family of bad guys, and then you got Banning, who's building a family of good guys in air quotes. It's just neutral, I guess. So them doing some verbal or philosophical battling, I think could contribute to something if we wanted to add that.
I think I would have liked that in placement of the whole America's more than just a flag, more than just a kind of speech. I
Yeah,
think I
you
would
can
have
put
liked
that in
that
there.
placed more because then that's actually showing Mike's thoughts on being a parent. He goes, I will never be a bad father. I will be there for my son. You're abandoned right now. I would never do such a thing. That actually showing what he wants to be as a father from all the setup of everyone else from Lynn and Ben and everyone telling him as like a father what to look forward to, what you can do, what you should do, and then him in that moment letting it all out. I think that
And
would have been a good like overall setup to pay off.
this isn't about you and me now. This is about the next generation, and I'm going to do my best to raise it right. It's something.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
It's
very
cheesy, but again,
American cheesiness, but yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down here. I was thinking about it, how you would trigger this conversation and make it perhaps less cheesy is you would have the villain like do the classic like you don't understand. You'd give something in that spiel about his family. And then Banning could respond with more context of like, what do you mean I don't understand?
How would
I'm going to
how would you
have,
feel if your
you
daughter
know,
died?
yeah. So something to that effect, that would taunt Banning into giving a rant as he's
Yeah.
pummeling the quote unquote bad guy to death. I and I will say this for the tone of the film, since we're kind of adjacent to it right now, the villain's death being peaceful was kind of felt out of place.
Oh, Cameron's death didn't like. That was very lame. Amir's death I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, Amir's death was fine. But Cameron's death, like, just smiling as the fire took him. I
Yeah,
I
that
don't think the
was
film
so
earned
lame.
that one.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't
agree.
really make sense to me why they did that for him. Roz's death
But
was pretty cool. That's the sound of your brother dying.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that one felt just that one again. That was very very typical. Like
I feel like
it's
Ben being like, "Was
consistent
that
with Ben.
necessary?" No.
No, I I
Yeah,
like the first one. I do like the comedy in this. Like when the biker was in the
Ooh,
window and he's like F you," and then just grinds him against the wall. This is so
that was
funny.
brutal. I wish there was more, like, bone break or, like, body dysmorphia
there's
look to it.
Banning has a lot more one liners in this movie.
He does.
Yeah, I don't think it's for the better.
I'm 50-50. I generally I was okay with them because it's not 100% a deviation from the tone of the first one. But the first one was more like him being nonchalant to try and get under Kang's skin, but he's not trying to get under anyone's skin in this one. He's just being nonchalant in a serious situation,
It's
which
like
is
when he's on a
where
mission, he just thinks he's, like, a cool action hero. Like, he
yeah,
just thinks he's cooler in his head kinda thing, maybe?
maybe.
I do
But
kind
like
of feel
and
that. Like
that's my
when
distinction.
I say
That's my distinction.
blow it up.
Yeah. And that's my distinction between Olympus Has Fallen and this one is I think in the first one he's still like quippy and action hero, but he's doing it to undermine Kang and get under his skin specifically. Because I think most of his scenes are pretty serious. Like even with Forbes, like he's not being quippy in that scene. He uh takes Forbes down when he needs to.
I can go
Um
to my least favorite joke in this whole movie that I think is
uh
damaging to both characters.
uh I'll do that. Let me finish my thought real quick. So my broad takeaway between these films is that it's not a 100% change to onto the character, but it is a tweak into how the character espouses a particular character trait, and it does feel different in this film comparatively to Olympus Has Fallen. And with that, Springs, go ahead.
Yes. My least favorite joke is "Oh, it took you enough time to get out of the closet?" Uh, because Ben is stated, "Stay in here until I give you like the all clear. Stay safe inside here." And then Mike goes on like a one man killing spree to the Delta team, and he has a guy he's stabbing, and he stops to see someone come around the corner, and he pauses and he hesitates, and he's like not sure what to do. Like he doesn't go for like a meat shield approach with the body he has in hand. He doesn't quickly,
Throw
gunslinger the
the
head, like
knife
shoot the
or
head,
something.
or throw the knife, anything like that. Ben comes out and saves him and shoots the guy. I don't like that at all. That Mike was about to get shot and he's like now unprepared for a movie moment for Ben to go against orders to come out when he has no visual of what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a fan with
Yeah,
that.
I have nothing.
There,
Yeah,
there's a
just to be played off of like, I got your back and you came out of the closet joke.
I agree with that. I don't mind the joke itself. My issues everything around the joke.
I think that scene is made for that joke to be a thing, which is why I don't like it.
That's another. That's definitely probably what happened. It says we're adjacent to another issue I have mine. It's not really a safe house if there's a skylight and somebody can rope down in.
That gotta get up there.
they had an armored door and everything too.
I
Um,
know, yeah, it's not really a safe house if there's a fucking skylight. So that's
yeah,
my
Yeah.
that's my little nitpick for that scene. But I agree with broadly what you said, Sprinks. I think again, I like the joke, but everything else around it is what makes the joke broken. Because
Yeah.
again, what you do with this sequence, right, is even if Ben goes against if Ben goes against orders, uh, I would be fine with that. I was hoping the president would do a little bit more in the film. Um, but him coming out and saving Ben and Ben being like maybe needing a minute or sorry, Banning needing a minute because he realizes he almost died and wouldn't get to see his son. That would be a ripe opportunity to play up the drama of the characters in the scene rather than the joke.
Yes, and I feel like that 50-50 I have with the following joke when Ben says, "I'll drive, you shoot," and they get in a car and he goes, "I haven't driven a car in like 6 years." It's like that's a good joke. I like because president's been chauffeured everywhere,
Yeah,
but coming off of the driving scene where Mike is telling the driver everything to do correctly to avoid and get out of the driving. It's like, if Mike knows all the better driving than the guy driving the car for the president, why isn't Mike the one driving the car if the president knows Mike's better? But then I get the other side of like, Mike's a better shot than Ben. So if someone's going to shoot, it's going to be Mike because Ben doesn't want to get shot by trying to shoot. So like that lined up to me, but still that seemed like a 50-50 on that joke.
I'm okay with it because I'm like 41 or 49-51 on that. Ultimately, he's there to protect the president. The best way he can do it is shoot the bad guys in that scenario. But I could see it the other way where he could avoid the bad guys better as a driver. So I think they're both
yeah,
acceptable options.
yeah. I'm
Um,
gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna be I'm gonna be that guy. Why are they going down this specific street?
well, especially after he said,
I
"I
was
have a
going to bring up,
bad
are you a
feeling
little,
about this." He should have just
Yeah.
took an alternate
yeah.
route.
Yeah. It would be one thing if they tried alternate routes and they found like wreckage and stuff and they were slowly being funneled. That would be the ideal situation for this because as it stands, I have no idea why they took the straight shot to the embassy. They could have taken the long way and gotten there safely, presumably.
Also, that quote unquote straight shot road, there's just random explosions.
Yep.
I don't get that.
Lots of
They're
hey,
not blowing
I
up
thought
cars. They're not
It's an
tossing
action movie.
grenades. They're just these random explosions.
pretty
They're not
much.
finding explosive rounds. It,
So,
yeah.
something else that bugged me revolving around a vehicle is the initial chase through London. And we have Banning open a door
Oh,
to shoot when they still have operational bulletproof windows. It hasn't been compromised yet, the back window. He's just opening the door to shoot when bullets can enter through the door.
yeah, but he looks so cool.
He does look cool.
Eh,
But the
He's getting
driver
low to the
could have been
ground.
shot in the head because the door was open. So
I mean, I agree.
doesn't make any
The
sense
driver could have been shot.
from the
What?
angle.
The driver could have.
Yeah. Uh, and then just the
But Mike was on
motorcyclist
the
busting the back. He was on the
Mike was
side.
on the left side,
Yeah, with the
not
angles
the
of
right.
where you could hit with that door being open.
Oh, I see. I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
Got it.
the line of sight of where
Sorry,
anyone could
45-degree
get hit.
angle from the back
Yeah,
left of the car. Got it.
so it would have hit the driver if anyone was to get hit from there.
Yeah, but Crimson, the driver gets shot anyway.
He does after a person breaks a window and not the bullets. Uh, but hey,
That makes sense. The bullets did weaken the bulletproof glass for straight contact hit
that's
of the
not how
helmet.
bulletproof glass works, though.
No, but it makes a little more sense than if just the helmet just hit the back and shattered it.
Yeah. And then they lose a door
An actual
later.
force into the weakened. Yeah.
Did they do as good a job as they did with Nick Fury's car chase with Winter Soldier?
I think that's better. Then again, that car's technologically more advanced.
Yeah, but I felt very similar where the car's getting wrecked while on the chase. Options are getting
Yeah, like
limited.
there's definitely a
Well,
level of like there's the car is armored. It has higher
yes.
specs to it.
What I can
Um,
go with the Nick Fury one is it's filmed a lot better. The shots and editing are much better.
I would agree. There's only one. I think there's only one real scene where Nick Fury's car chase, uh, yeah, is like he gets saved by plot armor. There's only one real scene that I'm thinking of. Here, I'm kind of in agreement as well. The editing is a lot shakier and stuff like that. Like I don't
There's some
feel like
very
the editing is trying to hide.
no, there's some very choppy editing in this whole movie.
Yeah.
Crimson, I thought you were gonna quickly like that whole London thing kind of touches on a pet peeve I might have. I didn't really get that I have this pet peeve until watching this. And I'm like, maybe it's something I do have that I've just kind of noticed that happens a lot in movies that I think I'll just indefinitely just nitpick on that doesn't make sense to me. They are trying to escape back to their choppers as fast as possible to get the president out as safely as possible, correct?
Sure. They're trying to get to the choppers. I don't know if it's the fastest route or the most optimal route. I don't know the route. But they're
Okay.
going for the chopper.
Okay, either or for that. Upon noticing that they're being tailed by a motorcyclist, a threat being coming after them, the driver puts the car into a higher gear to go fast. Why not start already in that gear?
Because they can always go
Why does
more. No,
exactly
that
why
happens
does
a
the
lot.
threat of the motorcyclist make them go faster? Should they not already be going as fast as possible?
No, I mean, there's no
So I'm like,
disagreement.
that's a nitpick for me. That's just like, oh man, gotta look cool. We're going.
Time to go to 110% now, Spring, because they were already at 100%. It's 110% now. They're pushing
It
it.
should be going. It's the president. They should go 120. Go.
Why didn't they bring the president's teleporter, darn it? They
Should
left
have
it at the
should have
White House.
established nitro.
And that's the
Yeah,
next
the
one.
nitrous.
You gotta
Yeah,
give it more
if they did a
time.
nitro button. So there
Yeah.
you go.
Oh yeah. See blue fire exhaust come out.
Why wouldn't the president's vehicle have nitrous? Come
I don't know. Anywho,
It'd be
just a
weird to have
little,
Lucius Fox giving a request. You got to boost the car into a rampless jump.
just a nitpick I have.
on. Yeah, I mean, it's fair. It does happen in a lot of movies.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that stereotype, right, that you're pointing out, Springs, it works again depending on situations. Like, if, for example, it's riskier to take something beyond, like, if you're going to push a specific piece of technology from 100% to 120%, and they establish the risk of why they don't do that before they do it, that adds a little more into the backline of why they aren't starting out with it, right? In
Yes.
the sense of
Remind
this,
me.
obviously,
It's the first example that comes to mind. Which Mission Impossible? It's either Dead Reckoning or Final Reckoning that Ethan Hunt is handcuffed in the little car and he's driving around like Italy.
oh,
That's
with
the First one, not the
with
second
Haley
one.
Atwell.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the first one.
that's
Yeah.
Dead Reckoning. Okay, his driving in that is constantly shifting gears because he's turning angles and slowing down the car to move around. That makes sense to me. To constantly go
Yeah.
faster and straightaways and slow down and pull, like turn. This one is just, oh, we can go faster, and then we're just going faster. There's no like the driver is actually like telling Mike, stop, I know what I'm doing for my job, and then gets killed by like, his emotions got the better of him or something like that. Like showing his competence that like he is shifting gears, turning, being, doing all the things. Even though Mike is being helpful by giving, I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Um,
It does kind of make the driver look a little more like a lackey, even though he should be at the same level, I guess, as Mike for protecting the president. But
Voight. How can you forget his name?
Voight, yeah, no, I don't know.
Voight the driver.
Was that the bald guy who got shot in the head?
No, that's Bronson. That's Bronson.
Oh, Bronson. Thank you. You got names I didn't write down.
What are the chance that never happens?
Well, I got
You
all
wrote
the
down their
prime ministers
names?
and everything. I got Leighton Clarkson. I
They
got
died and then you gave up.
Robert. I got Robert. No, I wrote them all down, and then they all blew stuff on my notes.
I'm like, well, I guess that turns my notes into an obituary, I guess.
Yeah. You want to know the Japanese prime minister? Tsutomu Nakushima.
His death was a joke.
Nakushima. Oh yeah, absolutely. They show us the amount of explosives they have. That is not enough.
Oh, also, I this could be a nitpick. I don't know how you two see it, but it's a little more. These, at least from the first one to this one, very big on the time stuff. Like this happened at this time, and now we're at this
You
time.
just took
And
that from me. Go ahead.
I'm like, the first movie had that whole 7 hour span or whatever from the morning to the night that I'm like, they did jack all with just so it's a nighttime operative thing. This one I think does a lot better if like it's all in one day and it makes more sense to like one thing to the next thing. The Japanese prime minister looks at his watch and it's like 3:19, 3:18 or something. And after that scene, it cuts to the I wrote it down, the Westminster Abbey, which then says it's 3:15. So unless the prime minister's clock is fast, it is a shot that is not in linear sequence to the rest of the entire movie. Which I feel like is
Probably
a
not in
very
linear
easy
sequence.
detail to fix.
Yeah, it's probably just some oversight on the editing side where they on the like texted one where it said 7:13, they could have just did like 7:15, so that
Yeah.
the Japanese watch wasn't wrong.
Yeah, they could have done, because at the end they do the 7:55, 7:59, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I should have checked though if the 7:59 to the 8 o'clock was an actual
Oh, that was
minute
going to
of
be my
real
question
time.
because you
I
do
should have
that every
I should have
time.
double
I
checked
thought
that.
you did
I
that.
did it the last one with the end. I didn't do it this time. I'm sorry. I should have.
Well, that probably just saved your subjective a little bit because
Maybe.
that tanked it last time for you. So
Well, yeah, it was the big climax of the movie. He needed enough time to save the world from nuclear fallout, and the movie was too lenient because of a
it was
hashtag joke.
I was a pretty big fan of Will Davis, the SAS operative. He was a pretty cool, chill guy. He just let Banning take over the operation. It's my way or the highway. I'm joining in. All right, after you.
I do like that. My favorite bit of that though is like they're ordering us to stand down, and he's like, Mike just looks at him and he hands Mike the walkie-talkie. Like he doesn't even care that he knows he's about to fucking lay into his boss, and he just doesn't care. I'm in agreement. The SAS guy is probably my favorite underrated side character. He's not really a character, but he's my favorite underrated personality that shows on screen.
We'll take it you're banning.
You know, he does remind me a little of
Captain Pierce.
Thank you.
I knew it
I wanted to say
because that's
soap,
what I
and I'm
felt.
like, it's not soap.
Soap.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Captain Pierce vibes
Yeah,
for sure.
like he just needed the friendly mutton chops.
Yeah, in the hat.
That's a Call of Duty reference, I think.
It is.
It sure is.
Modern
Smart guy,
Warfare.
got it.
But yeah, got those vibes.
I played
The
the
new ones or
only
the old ones.
yeah the only games I played the old ones, but the only campaigns I played were Black Ops, Black Ops 2, and World at War. I don't think I got a chance to play the Modern Warfare campaigns.
I could not tell you
Modern Warfare.
which campaigns I have and have not done. I just know the ones that I have played, beat them all in Veteran.
Yeah, I've played the 3 Modern Warfare originals: World at War, Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 2. I haven't played Black Ops 1.
I can tell you, Crimson and I are professionals at saving the president's daughter.
Jinx.
Yeah.
We are professionals.
If
We're
anyone's
banning.
pros.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, I'll get there eventually. just need to finish Resident Evil 2's playthrough and Resident Evil 3, and then I'll save the president's daughter.
Yeah, it'll take a while.
I forgot that was a thing. Holy moly.
Are the American flags on a sorry if we're kind of away from points. Just are the American flags on a car necessary?
It's standard.
It's standard. It's not.
Okay.
It's not just America that does that. It's
Canadian one had it as well.
we saw it in the first movie too with the Korean Prime Minister.
But it's mandatory.
It's standard.
It's easier for the other state to identify you. Yes, it'd be really weird if you show up in an unmarked van and they.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Because it does put a target on everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's where like a big fantasy element of this film comes in, because that wouldn't happen in real life to this degree.
Well, are you talking about in the beginning when they're arriving at the funeral, or I don't remember anything past that. Like the escape.
No, Ben gets in his car, and it has the American flags on the front, and I go, is that mandatory? Because then the bad guys know where the president is. Or like anyone for that matter, rather than everyone just arriving in car. So the most secure place that's for this funeral, people just know they're arriving.
From what I know and have seen, which isn't incredibly a lot, it's pretty standard stuff that the U.S. vehicles at least have the flags on them.
Yeah.
Okay. To me, it just seemed like an easy way to be targeted.
Yeah, that's
why the emergency pickup vehicle didn't have any. It was like a civilian vehicle.
Yeah.
Bulletproof.
Yeah, completely blacked out.
Which I think was cool, that the backup plan to the Beast, because that's what they called the president's main vehicle, was the Beast. The Land Rover was just an undercover civilian vehicle, pretty much.
Yeah. I could keep going to different points, but I just gave one, so unless you want me to go again.
All right. Crimson, why don't you go next?
Me, oh my. Let's go with. There's a little bit of suspension of disbelief with, what was it, Cameron, whatever, Cameron. I thought it was Cameron. Anyhow, that he'd rather live stream it to the point where he's pretty much about to die, instead of just finishing the mission and killing the president.
Yeah, he definitely dragged that scene out.
There's enough motivation to where it's viable, but it's really pushing it. Like, it would his brother, the one in the wheelchair, I don't think I ever got his name down, but he's like, why don't we just kill him? Because I want it live streamed, while you're hearing bullets in the background as they're approaching.
Yeah. Getting the live stream up is, once he was determined and got that up, him dragging it out once the live stream was up was a bit much.
Oh, stupid. He's like,
any last words, Mr. President?
Generators, and it's gotta be live streamed, and they hear gunshots in their own buildings. Like, we gotta it has to be shown. And then as soon as it's on, he's like, it's gonna be slow. He said it's gonna be slow death. I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna let Mike do, as I wrote down, Deus Ex Machina the situation, and just
nice.
Deus Ex Machina.
It's a pun.
I know that's what it's pronounced.
Mike.
I wrote down
Machina.
Oh.
Whoosh.
All good. It's okay, Trash.
It was a good one, Springs. But yeah, Cameron.
I'm just like, this whole thing is just played out just so Mike can arrive on time. for that. Ugh.
Exactly. He he
Yeah,
he let
it's
the president have a speech. He punched him slowly twice instead of
Fake punch.
yeah, pretty fake punch. Instead of just
The
being
first one was the only one that looked fine.
you know, he could have done is he could have just if you wanted to drag it out, he could have just grabbed a knife and started skinning him for like as he's trying to give his speech and then kill him. But he
Give him an
had to,
injury.
yeah.
Give him a scar. That'd been cool.
yeah, cut off his ear or something.
But
It just could be,
yeah,
look, this is the leader of You're the Free World. Slash. What is that? What good is
look,
that done for you?
he's
Slash, and then
he's devoted to,
that's it.
he's devoted to revenge. I'm fine ultimately with him like demanding to live stream. Like that's fine. But once you know the live stream is up, don't waste time.
Especially when the danger is in the vicinity of where you're
You could
at.
hear bullets in the building going
Yes.
off. Yes.
Before you got the live stream going. You have a matter of time if you want to achieve this. Like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. It's a huge plot problem for me. It's plot armor for the president. It's just the world bending in a very specific way to get the film where they want to go.
There's also the convenience that the generator wasn't in the room they were in. They had to send guys to grab the generator, which then
The
wasted
backup,
time.
yes.
Yeah, the backup generator. When if it was just in the room, they could have finished it before 8 o'clock, and then they would have had more time to play around if they wanted.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I'll jump to one of my points, unless anyone has anything more to add for this scene.
Maybe later.
Oh,
Nothing immediately.
yeah, maybe later.
Maybe later. Fair enough. It is a long action sequence. Jump back to one of my funny notes that came down to nowhere, and on getting everyone's names down, Sprinks. I thought it was set up that the French prime minister was going to be fashionably late. The French president was going to be
Ooh,
fashionably
see,
late.
good setup.
Just wait 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's like, yeah, he's like, I will, you know, we're ready to go now. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna wait a little bit more. Like,
Yeah.
I took it as he knew something was going to happen.
Yeah. Hey, Ryder, what came of it?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
He died quite
That
extravagantly.
had so all these hints that could have been way stronger. Cool, deception, mystery, thriller. Uh,
I said I think they had a good idea of moving the premise behind this film. I like a lot, but there's a lot of directions that I would have changed because I would have definitely gone
yeah,
over like since
I have
I didn't need a repeat of the first film, which is keeping the president safe. I would have
no,
like okay, the
which
president's safe,
they
then the
did.
president sends Mike Banning back in because Mike Banning is on the scene. You know, there's ways they can get around that, but anyway, that's another
Uh,
minor note for me.
what was I gonna say? Oh, I kind of have a little with what you had, I guess, Ryder, when we covered the circle, because your big thing was like, um, not missed opportunities, but
Wasted potential, I think is what I said.
wasted potential. I got hit with that
Yeah, I
as soon as
have
like
that here
all these people
too. I
died.
just
And I'm like, why introduce all these characters, even quote unquote characters? Like, if this is what's gonna happen.
yeah, I'm in the same boat with you. I do think London has fallen waste a lot of its potential. I don't think as much quite as much as the Circle because the Circle's playing with a lot more ideas conceptually, whereas here this is supposed to be a generic action movie and that limits you a little bit more. But again, it's there's still plenty more to play with as far as options go. So I'm in agreement. I do think this film does waste potential, just not I guess to the uh, I guess my
Example, the
further
circle.
degree is with
Yes.
the Circle.
No, no, not the one-on-one for yourself, but for me picking up what
Yeah,
I had. I'm like, I do
yeah,
have that whole thing where it's like, I like the beginning where they're like taking out the German general and his family. It's like, okay, so Germans connected to this, but the US bombed them. So the US, them and, Germany, and then the German chancellor's introduced. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. And this little girl with the flower, where now it's like, what was the point of the girl with the flower? What was that whole scene for? Nothing. The girl had no
To make you
connection to being
think
a
the
bad guy
flower
or
was
anything.
something.
Exactly, it's just a big red herring. That whole shot scene. Doesn't matter because the two infiltrated Union Jack guards turn around and just shoot her up.
Yeah.
So it's like that whole thing didn't come of anything. Introducing all these prime ministers didn't really come of anything.
It set the stakes. That's all they were.
Yeah,
And
but it's just kind of replaying the first movie.
I feel like it's a little disingenuous. I mean,
It is a little different, but
the first one is him trying to get and to rescue the president. Here, it's an escort mission. The other one's an assault on a building. This one's an entire
yeah, but
city. So it is
it's still
different.
to rescue the president.
Yeah, I mean
One
that's his
guy
thing.
getting the president out of a bad situation. What's the second movie? One guy getting the president out of a bad situation.
I could tell you what it is. I'm not gonna tell you.
Well, I said
So I'm fine with
I
it.
was referring to this one, not the third one.
Yes,
Boy, it's the third one. One guy getting the president out of a bad situation. We'll find out.
we'll find out next week on the Cheap Seat Critics podcast. Uh,
All right.
something
I'll.
I will listen. What writer has to say?
No, I'm the host. You're going. Sorry,
All right.
Crimson.
Well, darn.
Started. Bam.
Something I quite enjoyed as a reference homage. At least I'm reading it as. I don't know if it's definitely it, but we see Mike use Kang's throat grab attack on Cameron uh, later, and I'm just like, oh, he stole Kang's favorite move. Uh, just thought it was kind of an interesting
Oh,
thing.
I have the same. Yeah, I have the same thing where his move on Kane was kill him with like a knife through the head. Michael's very big on using a knife,
He
like
does.
just
He
stabbing everyone.
likes his close quarter
It's very
combat.
personal.
Yeah,
And the stab in the eyeball to to rip it out and stab someone else repeatedly in the chest. Brutal.
yeah, but
Mike
also still
is
a good
not a
marksman. And
scalpel. He is a sledgehammer.
no, he's a brute. Yeah. Uh, I
I
have
agree with that. Yeah.
two quick back to backs in the Oval Office. Just like the filming of it. At 12:27, there's a weird cut when Lynn and Mike come in to sit on the couches. It's a shot from the, I guess, Ben's kind of arm to show Mike sitting down, but Mike isn't centered, and it like quickly zooms in, and it's just a really weird thing to add in when we are where there's already a shot of Mike going to the couch to sit down. It's just a
Mhm.
really weird shot to be edited in. Um, and then at 13:17 and 13:18, back to back cuts of Ben, I think, looking over plans of what's going to happen with Mike. Ben's head changes between cuts of its location.
Couple continuity breaks.
Yeah, like he's looking directly at Mike, and it cuts to just a wider shot, so Lynn's in frame, and in that cut, Ben is now like looking down.
Yeah, I didn't
So
notice it, but
just
I
some
can
weird
buy it.
things.
I guess more on the weird things is we have Lay, whatever her name is. She brings up wanting to show Mike color splotches for the room. I'm not a big fan of that because right behind him is some color splotches on the wall for testing. Why
I'll just
did
Yeah.
put
they
the new
do
ones.
that? They didn't have to. They
She got
didn't
new
have to
ones.
have those on the wall. She didn't say new ones. She just said to show some color splotches.
That's true, and left. You're
Yeah.
right.
So I don't. I don't know why they did that. It's minute. Who cares? But something I saw.
No, no, that is a set design situation.
Yeah. So,
That is purposely already placed in the scene. They could have either angled it if they were priorly done because of a miscommunication, and that goes into camera work, that goes in editing, that goes set design. That is oops.
dude, that's everything. Everybody dropped the
No,
ball on
I'm just
this.
saying it's bigger than you might think.
Well, yeah, but it's not. When I say it's not big, it's not relevant to anything other than they screwed up a tiny thing.
Yes, not relevant to the overall whole story, but to the filmmaking process of that scene, that is more than just one person's little like mistake.
Right, I cut you off earlier. What were you going to bring up?
Oh, just waiting for you guys to finish. I was going to jump to one of the little bits that's an interesting story beat is the Speaker of the House became the VP. It's Morgan Freeman's character. The Madam Secretary has been moved to Secretary of Defense. As I Secretary
Ruth.
of State's been moved to
Yeah,
Secretary of
Ruth
Defense.
had
Yeah,
one
Ruth.
line in this. Yay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Ruth,
like that
Ruth,
Ruth, Ray, and General Clegg, I guess, all came back.
yeah. General Clegg got promoted somehow. I thought he would have been demoted, to be honest with you. But uh,
And he was
but yeah,
toned
I
down a
do like
lot.
they reprise their roles, which is and they're and also that Morgan Freeman's position is also big was also a promotion essentially from Speaker of the House to being the VP because it might have been over the incident of what happened and he did such a good job of maintaining the situation or whatever have you backroom stuff that could have happened. But I do think there's a little bit of a story there that they tell implicitly by shifting these people around, but still keeping the actors and the characters there.
Do you guys
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
the general is a different character in this?
General Clegg.
He's competent, so I'm gonna go with yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
We don't get much
I
of
don't
him,
think
but
he has
he's
enough.
very calm in
Yeah,
this. Meanwhile, in the other one, he's Mr. Freak Out. I know everything. Listen to me. Here, he's very passive. Very passive. He's not pitching
I think he just
strategies
agrees.
or anything.
No, I think he just agrees with the situation because it's not his home turf.
It's his
and
president.
It's
also
not
at this
America.
point,
Do it our way.
y-
It's
you'll
you guys are doing
also
your best to get us
there's
to
also
vote.
the aspect at this point is that Morgan Freeman's character has proved himself in the general's eyes. Because remember, Morgan Freeman was thrust into that situation and Olympus has fallen. And this
And that's what
time
he is too.
when he's in the room, he's everyone knows he's got handle on the situation. So there might just be a level of trust that was developed between him and Morgan Freeman as well.
That is true because in the previous one, it was the speaker because of the situation, the VP being dead and the president host being hostage. He is in placement to be the president, which is like day one. So the rookie in Clegg's eyes of like, oh, you haven't been trained to do this or whatever. This one, he is the established vice president now, so the authority to take charge might be different. So no second guessing or any of that.
Mhm.
Yeah. You were gonna continue, Crimson, before you threw the ball back at me, I assume.
What was I going to continue?
All right, Crimson has lost that
All right,
continuation.
that answers that question. I will jump to. I wish something came of the scene. Uh, because nothing really does. But I do like the scene where the president and Banning are in the London tunnels, and he asks Banning to kill him so that he's not murdered on live television.
A little bit of a Star Lord
I think it's
Yeah,
a
Gamora action, and I do wish it did come into play in some capacity
yeah. I
because
mean, because at least
Banning didn't
it,
even have the
yeah,
opportunity to assess that in a scenario. He's incapacitated in the car when the president's taken. He never gets
I
the
wish,
conundrum of do I pull the trigger or not.
but it would
yeah,
have been interesting if he actually got his gun and he was trying to shoot. Like he shoots the guy he tortures to get information, but if he's actually trying to aim for the president, but he's so disoriented, kind of like he's trying his best to do
yeah.
that.
That again, that's something that they could have played off for the character. I don't think they did that at all.
No, I don't think they did it at all. No, they just played off. He's too disoriented. They just got in a car wreck.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Sprinks point.
Yes, a good example of practical effects versus CGI effects of a guy comes out with a grenade launcher and starts blowing up cars while they're trying to get the president in the new armored vehicle to escape in, and a car explodes next to them, and there's like a side placed camera angle of the car flipping over and landing and crushing like the car. By the way the car moves, you can pretty much tell it's on wires to flip the car, but that all seems like a very practical effect stunt, being how close it is and shot for that explosion to look good and move the car in that way, and I thought it looked very good. Other than I guess the car being kind of magnetized where it lands, but versus the next scene of the bridge being exploded, where all the metal wires and are going all over the place and being cut from the explosion, and it's just this cartoony slash of noodles all over the screen.
Yeah,
The Death Eaters taking
looks
down the bridge in Deathly Hallows Part One looks better, and
That looked better.
I think
Yeah,
that came out what, a year before this, a year or two. When was Deathly Hallows Part
maybe,
One? Probably.
maybe. I don't recall. But yeah, I'm just like going from a cool looking practical effect to a bad looking CGI effect makes the CGI stand out worse.
yeah.
Holy
When you
cow!
run your practical with your CG shots, you have to do a really good job, or an effects shot. And there's a lot of movies out there that do blend the two very well. Um,
Well, their attempt at this in this movie is that lawn shot in the street, in the
yeah,
gunfight.
I in that film, and I think in that sense, right? I do think the film that scene does a decent job, and it's nighttime. You can spot where they obviously made cuts to the long take.
Yeah, but they turn
Um,
those bullets into yellow lasers.
yeah, it's more that they're sparking off things, right? I don't know if they're called. Yeah,
The muzzle
yeah.
flashes are bright, like
Okay, yeah,
flashbang bright and yellow, and the
yeah,
bullets are
yeah,
like going across before even making contact. They're just like whizzing by as like yellow streaks, and but the choreography of the placement of where to move and the whole camera's going before cut, I think that's all good. But the
yeah.
overlay of the CGI of the bullets, ugh.
I don't remember the overlay of CGI bullets. Fly of the air. The muzzle flashes I agree with, but that's like every fucking movie almost that does that. It starts get that sort of thing starts being filtered out a little bit, but there's a lot of that.
Deathly Hallows Part One came out in 2010. That's insane. Wow,
16 years ago.
that's crazy.
No wonder it looks good. It was in the age where CGI looked pretty good.
That's true. We've regressed.
Yeah. The late yeah is
Oh, we all agree to that.
the 2000s were a great time for CGI, and then
Yeah.
it's something happened.
I'd say,
I think
yeah, it was like 2013, 2014 is when CGI started going down.
yeah, a lot of it is well, I mean, that's gonna start. I don't want to start diagnosing it, but a lot of
Oh,
it
we've
has to
talked
do
about
with
it
that.
before.
Yeah, an over reliance on it, because a lot of films before them blended practical and CGI, so it made CGI more concentrated in specific parts. But then it turned into
Overuse.
overuse. Yeah. Okay, I'm rewatching the scene a little bit. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of the laser yellow flashes
Yeah,
going
it's a lot of
by.
yellow.
You're right. You're right. I do think specifically just the bullets whizzing by is like you can see like the yellow laser bullets going by.
Yeah, I just went, oh, the CGI. But again,
Yeah,
choreography, the placement, the tactical, like what to take cover behind, the lawn shot of the camera movement from that whole street, like that all
yeah,
looks pretty darn good.
yeah. I agree with that. And it being at night, yeah. Again, the CGI stuff, right, where they're showing the bullet travel, like where the bullet's going. It's there for the audience, so I
I
don't
know.
have too much issue with it. It's just a little bit oversaturated.
I'd be honest, if it was taking place during the day, I think it would look a lot better because then they don't have to show those bullets.
That's also very true.
They just do practical stuff of like a window breaking in the background kind of
Yeah,
thing.
or the bullet holes that line up next to people when they're taking cover and
Yeah,
shit like that.
I think it would look better. But I didn't make the movie.
Yeah, anyway, yeah, good catch.
Yeah,
I was focused more on the
no,
choreography than it was the
I know.
CGI stuff in this.
CGI is bad in the movie. Blanket statement from me. Just ugh. Um, there's a part when they get in the van, the armored van, like to escape the funeral area, and they're driving away, and the guy with the grenade launcher like isn't able to hit them enough. It goes to a shot of the white of a not the but a white rose on the ground with like blood on it. Is that supposed to be the same rose the girl gave the German chancellor?
That's how I
I
Because
read
those
it.
are in
believe
2 different spots.
That's how
I
I read it.
believe it's supposed to be. Um, or it could be the if the girl had a fucking pot of flowers she gave to her parents before she delivered the one,
That's a stretch.
maybe that's where it came from. Well, no,
I
because
don't know.
it's
What's
the
the
only reason
purpose
I
of the
said
girl?
it's yeah, the only reason I would say it's not as much of a stretch is because the royal guards, after they gunned down the German politician prime minister lady, they gunned down civilians too.
Yes, but that location is not to the funeral. Like, that rose would
Uh,
have to travel by wind to get to wind up at the steps of the funeral where the president
oh,
was.
that is not at the steps of the funeral. You can see the royal guards in the background. That rose didn't teleport.
Yeah, the German lady wasn't at the funeral yet.
I know, but she was given the rose
Yeah.
there.
No, no,
What I'm
she
saying
wasn't
is she
given
got
the okay, you finish, sorry.
was the little girl stepped forward, the guard stopped her, then the German chancellor was like, "No, no, it's fine," and then she gives her a rose, and she accepts it, and then the
Yeah.
girl leaves, and then the German chancellor gets shot up and dies, and had the rose, and then we see the rose just by itself by the steps of where the funeral was. How did the rose get from point A to point B if it's
The
the
rose is
same
not
rose?
the rose is not on the steps. The rose is at Buckingham Palace. Still. Unless there's a second shot of the rose that I don't know.
Okay, I will look to see what I'm talking about, and I'll see if it's where the second shot is.
All right.
Okay.
I guess while you're
Because to
doing
me, it
this,
really looks like it's a
Yeah, and
different
now
rose.
while you're doing that, Crimson, tell me.
yeah, I'll bring up someone I don't think we've really talked about yet. Jax. Um, the
MI6 lady? Yeah.
yes, the old friend, I guess, of Banning. How do you guys feel about her? Was she wasted potential? Was she good? Was she bad? Somewhere in between.
I thought it was more of a tool. I would have liked her to be more involved if she was supposed to be like a character, but I'm leaning towards she's servicing as a tool, not really a yeah, just a tool. I don't have much to say beyond that.
Okay.
I think she's serviceable for what she is involved in, but
I find her so strange because to me it felt like she was getting built up to be a major player, and in some degree she is. She finds out the mole, but whenever she's on screen, it just feels like an obligation. I don't know how else to really describe it. Uh,
I questioned a little if she's a replacement for Lynn for the film.
could be,
Like Lynn's dead, so now we're introducing Jax.
maybe, but just I don't know if it's just a subjective like absence to me. Like every time she's on screen, it felt hollow because she is technically
I mean
doing stuff.
the film doesn't do anything you to endear you to the character. That's my biggest issue with it. So the subjective hollowness, I think I agree with. Um,
Because she stopped the access thing and reactivated the CCTVs, and then figured out who the mole was and took care of him, John. Um, so she's doing stuff. It just doesn't feel like she's doing anything. It's a weird paradox to me. I don't know if you guys were feeling the same way with her.
my thing is my objective issue is just the film did nothing to endear us to her. So I'm in agreement in the sense that she's doing stuff, but it's not relevant to, or it's not. Um, anyway, I'm losing my train of thought.
I guess
I,
Sprinks. Yeah.
again, I just feel like she was introduced as like a continuation of Lynn, of like being that authoritative friend to Mike because Mike is like, oh, I know someone. Hey, Jax. It's like, hey, Mike, you brought the big guy. Like they have an established relationship, which was kind of the same thing with Lynn of like Mike and Lynn being friends of just a female authoritative lead. And I'm like, oh, is this just like, I didn't like that aspect of it, but her being like member of the MI6 and she's like, oh, I can look into this for you. And that, I think that was fine. She did have more character to her than just being a tool to find the mole and everything because the mole seemed like a side story to just explain how the things went down in the HQ.
Yeah, I it's true. I would say my biggest issue with her again is just that I don't think the film endeared us to her. That's why I feel subjectively hollow with her story.
Yeah.
Like if we learn her friend who turns out to be the mole at the end, like if we learned like a little bit more on their history together, I think that would have made her concluding scene probably a bit more impactful.
Did you guys figure out the mole, and if so, when?
Oh, instantly.
I thought it was the chief, but then they started focusing on the chief too much. I'm like, oh well, he's a red herring. It's the
See,
other guy.
the chief, I it was interesting. I'm like, is it the chief? His last name's Hazard. I'm like, how on the nose are we going to be with this? That Hazard is like the bad guy,
Yeah.
and
As soon
then
as we yeah, sorry.
and then I went, no, he's actually trying to do good in these scenes. I'm like, well, the only other named guy here is John, and I guess it's John unless they're going to throw in like another new character. And then as soon as Jax was introduced, her first thing was with John, and I'm like, okay. He goes, yeah, I know there's a mole here. It's like no one's talked to you about a mole. It's like you didn't say anything to Hazard about it either. So
Yeah, I knew it was John the moment they brought up that they had a mole inside and they were going to try and so I figured it out maybe 45 minutes in. So after I met John, but then I remember that John was the character that greeted Banning and the president off of Air Force One. And then I'm like, I think he was complaining about that being off schedule, and I'm like, huh. And so I kind of figured out it was John fairly early before that deal as well. Also, is the rose shot you're looking for Sprinks at 2900?
pretty much, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's Buckingham Palace. You can see the royal guards in the background.
Okay. Thank you for solving that for me. Yeah. Okay. Because I'm like, I thought it was just from the established previous shot of them escaping. I'm like, is there just a rose here too? Like, is it a calling card situation? And okay, no, it's just a cut back to them just
Yeah,
showing the
it's
rose.
just to cut back to the tragedy because all the I think most of the world leaders are dead at this point. So a bloody rose is. Uh, I
Gotcha.
honestly think it's just symbolism.
Okay. Well, I know we've done popcorn structure for this whole thing, but I can assure you one whole page of my notes is done.
All right, you're
Thumbs up.
almost halfway there.
Well, maybe. I mean, like, we've been jumping over. I don't know
Yeah.
how much has been talked. So,
Um, I will jump to uh again, we kind of talked about it about a couple times, but I'll go into a bit of depth, a little bit more in depth on it. I love this scene with Banning and the president, and Banning getting advice about how to raise a kid. Because I actually think the Asher's advice on how to raise a kid to Banning is really good advice. At least as general advice. I do think there can be exceptions around that, but as good general first parent advice, I think that's one of the core rules to take to heart on being a good parent. So I like that it wasn't just, uh, for lack of better words, just generic uh, good parent line. Just like, oh, don't do anything and your kid will turn out fine, that sort of thing.
yeah. No, no, it was good advice. Um, And I guess the worriment of Mike played into that, but I still think it was a little bit jokey where he's just like giving all these examples of things. But I suppose that yes, that is the worriment.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just buddy
so
banter.
yeah, the buddy banter I'm okay with because for me, people being able to uh, make light of a terrible situation that they're in is a very core human thing because it helps us rationalize, like psychologically, what's going on for us and to us, happening to us. So I don't mind the buddy banter in a scene like this when they actually have a moment to have buddy banter, but it doesn't hit as hard because the buddy banter continues for large portions of the film when there wouldn't be buddy banter. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
oversaturated.
The balance of humor in this movie is to me distasteful.
All right.
I'm not saying it doesn't work. The jokes have the setup and the payoff,
Not your cup of
but
tea.
the place, I think it's like a time and place situation. The times are fine. Or no, is it the other way around? Like a
I
joke
don't.
has a time and a place to be. I think it's something like the place. One of the two is always off for me in the joke. It's either it's a fine place for the joke to be, but it's not the right time, or it's a fine time, but it's not the right place, or something like that.
All right. I don't view it
My favorite one is their jogging at the beginning. I'll say like that is totally acceptable and fine.
presidential run.
Like, oh, we'll name it Benjamin. It's like, oh, that's funny.
Serious? Hell no.
Yeah, that is all good. I like that.
I mean, I
Yeah, I
like their
also like the scene
relationship.
too.
I liked it in the
Yeah, they
first
have a
one, and I think they did a good job keeping it in this.
yeah. I would agree with that. A lot of my issues with their pertains to their relationship is more sort of to do with like I don't feel like there are times where I don't think Asher would listen to Banning because Asher comes across to me as the person who be like, "The hell with me leaving the chopper. Lynn was my friend too." Like I feel like Asher would have been there for the sequence of Lynn passing away, even if Banning gave him an order. So there's parts where I do feel like are a little bit incongruent, but I think for the most part their relationship is solid.
Well, I guess to add on to that scene, I also don't know if Banner would stick around at the helicopter because his primary objective
You
is
keep saying
protect
Banner.
president.
It's
I
Banning.
did that. I did that in the last one. Um,
You did. Can't wait for it for next week.
yeah, I know. His primary protection, his primary option, what have you, is protect president, not protect dying boss. And the president's vulnerable right now. And you just told
Yeah.
him to go outside with no protection.
Well, yes and no. Where this thing can blow at any moment, you need to get like his main focus, the president, get out of this helicopter. But he is emotionally attached to Lynn for some time to say goodbye.
No, I know it's a
So like,
balance, but
yeah, but his
he's
first main
very job
priority
oriented.
is get the president out.
Yeah, I mean that's like his core trait
His first
is
thing isn't like Lynn, like he's crying over Lynn and then comes to terms of what to do. He's immediately like Ben's like, oh, we'll get pressure on, and he's like, no, get out of the helicopter.
yeah. You could be
So I
like,
think that
Lynn,
aids.
I'll be back. I need to secure the president, and then the helicopter blows up, or the motorcycles come and he has to like, I'm sorry, I gotta go, and she's like, I know, take him out for me,
Would it have
whatever.
would it have helped if Mike like asked, "Can you stand?" and then he like picks her up to get out rather than waiting in the helicopter for her to die,
If he tries and she's just like, stop it, protect the president, leave me,
or she dies in his arms.
something rather than what we have. I think it's too long. I think.
It's too much of a pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either Asher needs to stay in the chopper with him and just remove like the threat of it exploding. I'm not convinced it was going to explode anyway, but
It
the
wasn't even on fire.
yeah, exactly. That's my thing. So like just remove that line. You could just keep Asher in there with him because Would know Lynn very well too, so Asher could also bring additional emotion out. Because one of the things that the film didn't really play with, like in Olympus Has Fallen, where they could play with it here, is just the guilt that Asher has that all these people are laying down their lives for him, which would be another thing that they could do if they wanted.
Speaking about like saving lives, how do you feel about upon the strike of the Stinger missile onto the chopper, Mike goes to like activate like an emergency like raft, like inflatable raft to like cushion their blow, and then upon going back in the helicopter, the raft isn't there. Like it's not even deflated. It's not all over the place. Like it's just gone.
So my interesting read of that, I didn't think it was a raft. I thought it was something that from it's a very brief thing. I thought it blew up like in between the hull of the chopper.
It looked like
Does
an
that make sense?
intentional barrier to me.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'd have to rewatch that scene specifically because if it is a raft, I am in agreement.
Yeah, I
Sprinks,
took it
there
as
would be
like an
something left
inflatable
over.
raft. Like if they
Yeah,
went down in the water or somewhere.
yeah. If it was an inflatable raft, I think I would share the issue with it. But I think it was just the way it shot. It looked like it blew up like in the hull of the chopper, which is interesting as far as a like safety measure. Like it would help the
Well, I think
make
just
the
Mike
chopper itself.
activated it inside. I think
Yeah,
like it would they could put it outside if they wanted, but Mike opened the cabinet and activated.
And it just perfectly
I don't think
filled
the
the
cabinet
hole.
opening exploded.
I'm not a fan.
maybe.
I mean, there's certainly a possibility that it's a raft or boat. I'm not a fan of it
Yeah,
if it is though, because it just is. It
Okay.
fits the
It
scenario too perfect. If it is,
That's what I got from it for being bright yellow.
it very well can be.
yeah,
But if it is, I don't like it. If
Yeah,
it
and it's
is
not one of those
if
a safety
inflatable
thing,
like
a barrier.
staircases that planes have because
yeah,
it's a helicopter. Like it's not.
yeah, I would rather not be a raft. It still works as a raft, but I just takes some a slightly more of an issue with it because I don't think that's where the inflatable rafts are stored.
Well, I suppose, but still, in either case, I don't like that it just vanishes.
Yeah, like I said, if it's something that blew up in the middle of the hull, I'm more okay with it, obviously, because it would have
Well, yeah, but
popped during impact.
there'd still be
But it,
remains of bright yellow in the cabin.
yeah, it would be stuck in the hole, is what I'm saying. So like there would be less opportunity for you to see it visually. Again, you're it's most likely a raft.
Okay.
I'm not gonna bear the point. I'm in agreement, Sprinks. There would be leftovers
Look, I
of
had a
it.
nitpick with bright yellow lasers. Now I have a nitpick with bright yellow possible raft remnants. So,
Well, let's talk about a positive then. Sprinks, you talked about earlier, and we didn't really get to dive into it, that you liked Amir's death, but you didn't really get to talk about why. So let's hear
oh,
it.
okay. Okay. Well, funny. I was going to go into Lynn's death, but yeah, Amir's death. I like the back and forth. Well, first off, I don't understand how Amir got the phone number to the president on like a secure line in the White in my call. Don't understand how he got that number. I can understand someone giving a radio phone to Amir and it's the vice president on the other end, like connections to get to find a number. And then he goes, look outside. Now, Amir looking up, I feel like it's too long of a shot. I think it could be chopped down a little, but the cut to show the vice president looking at a missile strike screen to just turn his head of like so coldly to be like, yeah, we're taking you out to just blow him up. I thought was really cool to also connect to the beginning of the movie where his family's blown up by an American missile strike that he survived. So it's like, we're going to finish the job kind of thing, like do it how it's supposed to be done. And I think just like a callback to that for Morgan Freeman to do is Vice President now. And I like that far more, I guess, also coming off of Cameron's where he just like hugs behind a corner and dies in fire.
Firewall consumes him.
Yeah, I think coming off of that, this one does look far better or pay off better. So,
Yeah, I do like how it looked visually, the slow motion fire and the guards outside of it. felt cinematic, as it should have been.
It's just
But
it's not 100% wonderful. Like there's little tweaks to it though.
I just wish he was more involved because I didn't feel the same way as I did with Kang. Kang felt satisfying when he died. Amir, I didn't really feel much other than, oh, it's cool, but I don't feel
Mir,
like I got anything out of his death.
yeah, Mir was like the Scar guy in Iron Man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like he's a bad guy. He's there, but
I mean, it's weird that like
it's kind of it.
Cameron's like he's the main bad guy in this, not his father. It kind of feels he gets way more focus and screen
He
time,
does,
and
Yeah.
that's just an interesting choice
which
that
is
they
weird
did.
because he's not established at the beginning to be that. It's not until the phone call that Mike has, or like the radio call, where then Cameron kind of takes places the antagonist
Yeah, it's
because
an
it seems to
interesting
be all
choice.
Amir's doing. So I agree, but
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with all what you said, guys, on that one. It's not comparatively on the deaths of the villains. Kang's was better, more satisfying.
well,
But
yeah, Kang
in
was actually at the hands of like Mike, like one to one, like all the
yeah,
rage and everything throughout the movie. This
it
one
is
is just
satisfying. I have the same criticism as you, Springs. That it is satisfying that Amir goes out the same way that he thought he was gonna that they thought he got him the first time. So again, it has the finishing job feel. So I'm in agreement with all that.
yeah. Now on the other end of Lynn's death, I think it just goes into Angela Bassett, the actress. Her acting shines very good in her death. The quick breaths of her losing like lung capacity and the sadness she's feeling, but also like you need to do this now to Mike and what to say before she died. I think her acting is really damn good in that. The lines she said, I think, are very bland. I think the situation at hand in the movie of, as Crimson said, take care of the president is kind of sidelined a little for her death. Not the greatest. I think the music though is pretty good. The slow kind of play into music for the scene to elevate the emotion, I think, is good. Um, but yeah, the strongest case in her death is just her acting of dying. I just
Yeah,
wanted to highlight that.
I'd say she does a good job dying in quotes.
You know
And
why,
yeah,
right?
uh, what do you mean?
Do you know why?
Acting wise?
Yeah, because that's the job.
It's your job, isn't it? uh, I did go back and check. It was a raft that they popped up in the chopper, and
Sounds
there is
like it.
remains of it as well outside.
Outside the chopper.
Yes.
Mhm. Okay, that's a little better, but
Well,
yeah.
it's you. I mean, I put a screenshot in chat for you to look. It's like half
Okay.
inside the chopper and half outside, but it's popped. um, I would
Oh, that is.
say
That looks so lame. That looks like an afterthought. Like, oh shoot, that was a raft. It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, just go throw this over there. Okay.
Now you're just being picky.
Um,
There's no
maybe
raft.
I can
Now
be.
there's a raft, and now they just did it bad.
I think there was a raft the whole time. Okay, there was a raft the whole time.
I
It's
mean,
just how
like
much is
on the
shown.
wreckage. Yeah.
But I also, it makes sense to me that they're like, okay, we got to run on foot away from the chopper as bikes are coming in, and only one bike I think stops to check out the wreckage.
Yeah, that was something I was gonna bring up as a talking point,
So I'm
whether
like, I
it was
guess they
viable.
saw them.
yeah, I feel like more of them would have stopped at the chopper, and then once they searched it, then they would all go off. Um,
Something I
Yeah, but I also
wish
don't know how they outran all those motorcycles or hid because it just cuts to them next, like escaping in the alley where Mike kills the guy by.
there's just one
How
guy
does
by themselves,
how does he
lucky.
kill him? How does that
trachea.
guy die? He
He
like
actually
hit.
breaks his airway essentially, so he
Okay,
chokes on him. Yeah,
he just suffocates death.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Just like in
Okay,
Dread.
I was curious of that. I wish he had better, like, makeup on his face or something. Like, more strain of, like, red in the face or not, I guess, blue in the face, but just more because he just looks like he's and dead kinda thing.
Yeah, I mean, you have Ben talk about. I've never seen a man suffocate before. So
Yeah, but I just feel like there would be more strain on someone trying to breathe
more
to save
panic
their
on them.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he didn't look very
watery eyes,
panicked.
maybe. He was just very pale, and he died in less than a minute.
I wish something they had in this that they had in the first one was an enemy drone. I don't know how they found them in the subway, and I don't know how they found them in the MI6 safe house.
MI6 Safe House is a transmission that the mole could have given out.
They
That's kind of the
intercepted the
implication of that.
hearing, but they didn't say
It's a
they
good idea.
tracked the. They didn't track it. They should have said that.
Yeah, they have a
The
location, a general area, and then their mole could have fed them the safe house in that area. Does that make sense?
Possibly, but
So I
that's
don't
the
have as
movie's
much issue.
job.
I don't.
inference
Yeah, I don't have this. Like, I was able to infer that one. I don't have much inference for the other ones.
for the train station, the best I got is that it's quiet and he fires a gun. So there's a gunshot heard activity to go to that location. Now he does close
Oh
the
yeah,
gate, so I guess it's easier to hide, but there's still a
yeah.
broken
He shot
lock.
the lock off, so
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I
But
forgot. I forgot
and
they
to give
that's
that
were
the
into
best
that.
I got for
immediately
that.
after him, and it happened to be one of the
Well,
brothers. And it wasn't
true.
just one
That
scout; it
that
was a whole troop.
that's a coincidence. That is all written coincidence into the movie, which is not excusable. That's kind of
Yeah,
dumb. Um,
the plot and world building of this one are a fucking
yeah,
mess.
but he did fire a gunshot in a patrolled area, so. I do like the detail that he wraps the grenade in a newspaper to kinda conceal its identity,
Quiet it. Yeah,
Quiet it, yeah.
I do like that. It was a nice bit of
like
tactical.
it's just a piece of trash.
Yeah, just enough to give it a quieter bounce.
Oh, I don't think it was to subdue its noise, I think it was to not have panic of someone, like, dive on the grenade, so, like, one person died.
I think if you're a
Like,
military man
"Grenade," like,
and
5
somebody
dead.
threw a thing in your room, it's probably a grenade. I'm totally on board that it's a sound buffer, not a
Oh, you thought
disguise.
it was a sound
I don't
oh.
think it's a
Hmm,
disguise.
Oh, it absolutely is a sound buffer because they distinctly like muffle the sound of it bouncing
okay.
editing wise.
I do like
Yeah, I
the
took it as just, like,
strategy that he gets people to shoot each other, which he does a couple times in this movie.
oh, the one where the lights turn on was so stupid.
Oh, that one annoyed the shit out of me.
And light each other up. Oh,
Yeah, there's a lot of plot armor for banning in this film.
yeah. Oh,
E-
I, also checked. I think it should have been written better for it of the, you know, is Banning left-handed or right-handed? Oh, check it. And the gun and the 6 on his hands from the drone, and he's, like, left-handed, so, like, southpaw, si that's very clever and cool, but it really does feel like that's a written-in idea afterwards, and I think it would've been a lot better if, like, when Mike has the gun, he goes, "Oh, hang on a second," he, like, swaps his hands and does that, and then Ben goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Don't worry, I'm sending a message." And us, the audience, were like, "We don't know what he just did," but then is shown later.
oh, I see. Some more, so like it's more set up to what happened. I agree. That would have been
Yeah.
better.
It just feels like written in. It's like, "Oh, yeah, Mike is in tou" so it's like, "What's Mike doing? What do we know?" And someone's like, "Oh, well, Mike did this," but we, the audience, never saw Mike.
I agree. I think it should have that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no pushback for me on that one. Um,
Something I
there's a
go ahead.
it's again, this is going to go to a broader world building issue. We talked about how many traders there are. There's hundreds, uh, at least. Um,
Yeah,
and they would need more than 2 years to conduct an operation on this scale because they said that, like, there's 30 police officers missing. That's not enough for what happens.
no, it is not. Plus the Royal Guard. and
Yeah.
that's a pretty tight ship.
That's a level of infiltration that I have no idea how the
You
fuck
could
that
make a
happened.
movie on that. It's like a
Oh, they
heist
had
movie
years.
level.
They had years, which essentially means 2 years.
Yeah, pretty much. I would say that Sherlock did a bit where someone attempted to assassinate one of the royal guards, and that was a huge plot point for one of the mysteries. Um, that
Oh,
was I think
non-movie coverage. That's what you're saying. Like a Sherlock story of its own.
yeah, the
Okay.
Sherlock
I'm just
BBC
going with like
Sherlock.
okay, we've covered Sherlock on the pod. That's what I'm
Yeah,
getting at.
clarifying. BBC Sherlock. There is a plot point of one of the royal guards being killed, and it's a mystery as to how it happened because um, the royal guards obviously it's hard to do that.
Yes, and to do it secretively. So there's
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough to say definitively, but are you guys leaning infiltrated, became a guard, or they killed guard, took uniform?
It has to be infiltrated because if the killed guard took uniform, everyone's gonna be like, "Huh, who the fuck are you? Why are you show up to work together? Where's Steve? You're a royal guard."
Yeah, I'll have to go with that.
So it has to be infiltration, which means it needs to be longer than 2 years. 2 years is not a
Yeah, that's
appropriate
kind of what I
time
was
frame
going to
for that.
counter with. Like, each scenario is not a good scenario.
Yeah, they're going to lose something out here one way or the other. Based on presentation, I have to go with infiltration, and in that case, they should have jumped it probably closer to 5 to 10 years.
And I
And
guess
even then, I'm not.
technically there's a third option of flipping, but the Royal Guard are very well known for being very, very loyal.
Yeah,
So,
the royal guard would not have flipped. Is the that particular issue?
yeah.
Police officers, maybe you can coerce them, but again, that's a level of stuff that they would need to uncover in a more mystery aspect of this film that they just don't do.
But speaking of paying
Yeah.
off the cops and stuff, John, they had a decent concept with him feeling like the system's failing and it's time to mix it up. I hate that they just plopped in and 20 million euros. I'm like, what? Now you just made
Yeah.
him a
Yeah,
greedy dummy.
imagine if there was laying that theme throughout the film instead of dropping it here at the end. That would have been nice.
That'd been nice.
Yeah.
What I do like out of that whole scene was Jackson giving him like ample opportunity, like get on the ground. We got you. You know,
Yeah,
you failed, and she just like screams it, and just as soon as you just like brutal shot, like just bang
as
bang.
soon as as soon as he starts backing up towards his weapon a little too much, she takes him out. I do love
Yeah.
that. It was a really good bit. I'm glad we avoided the cliche of him actually getting to his weapon. She shot him
Yeah.
long
No, she's
before he got there.
gave a chance. MI6 agent had to do what had to be done. Like,
Yeah,
got it. Good job.
I agree.
I also like the good test of trust that Mike and Ben don't really know who to go to other than Safe House. And Vice President gave the line that he already spoke to Mike earlier about the fishing trip. It's like, this is the way you can trust me. So it's like,
You
okay,
know
it's the
that way
only
you
reason
know
you would
it's
know.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I don't fully understand how that message got to them, where all communications are down.
Yeah, that's also a question mark for me. I know they have a line trying to explain it away. I don't remember what it was though.
How is that? How would it be sent? How would it be contained? Because it's not a live chat, so he's not actively talking somewhere that's just not picking up a feed. It's stored somewhere. But how did it get somewhere to be stored for then Jax to it? I didn't get that part. Like if everything's destroyed or taken out or blocked by authorization codes, how is it sitting somewhere?
Well, it's his log. So it's just in the computer systems. It's just how does she get access to it if everything's been disabled? That's the part I don't really grasp. Also, it's really contingent on him
Okay.
screwing up every opportunity because she listed like 3 different things he screwed up on. You forgot to remove the GPS from your car. You took the fun out of it. You left your access codes to the administrative whatever,
Oh, to
and
John.
yeah, and he did everything with the cameras facing him. And he's like a
Yeah.
top level guy. Eh, How did he screw up all that?
It's a little funny that he doesn't give like a defense. He just like nervously is like, "Yeah, you got me," and doesn't talk back.
Yeah.
Just slowly trying to get his gun.
Yeah, it's that part of the conversation is very lame, but I do like it everything else that comes after that. Like I
Yeah.
said, there's a lot of this film I still enjoy, but
Do you like that? It's very apparent that when he's walking from car to car, loud and go parking garage from his steps, yet Jax is there with not a trace of sound at all. She's in the middle of parking garage, so she would have had to come. Sound design,
um,
gotcha.
Uh,
yeah,
Sprinks.
but a lot of it's a thing every film says
I
fucking
know,
does.
but she's not
But
Catwoman. She wasn't climbing on the ceiling.
Sprinks.
yeah,
I think you need to say that. You went pretty robotic and absent.
Oh, sorry. The fact that it's pretty apparent that when John is walking between car and he echoes his steps off of the parking garage, that he's kind of like the only one in there or the only. Yeah, when it goes to show Jax by the second car, she made no noise to get there, yet she's in the middle, kind of between the two cars. If she came from a stairwell,
she does teleport.
Or
It's a common movie problem,
she knew
so it's
he
yeah,
was
definitely a
gonna
movie
go
moment
out of the
there.
there.
shadows,
She knew he was gonna be there, and she just waited. She could have already been there.
yeah, she could have been barefoot.
That
Also, that didn't really get a good shot at her feet.
You want to look?
Not really interested. No.
Ah, see, that was baiting humor there. Okay.
I knew what you were setting me up
Oh yeah,
for
I know
something I
you.
don't really understand.
Crimson Feet Maroon.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't stick on.
I mean I don't actually get it, but I mean like don't get me wrong,
You're go ahead.
I get the foot fetish joke part of this, but I don't know why Crimson would be attached to it.
I'm not. That's the
Why not?
joke. Sprinks is trying to set me up.
Who knows?
Mah.
Well, in that case, Crimson, go look at some feet, okay?
No.
um,
All right.
do you two think the long drink of water of the shot of just Mike chugging water is for humor?
Uh, I
He's
think
like, I'm
his.
so thirsty, and he just chugs it all.
eh, I think in large, yeah, yeah, he just chugs it down. What
It
he says
I mean,
is kind of comedic.
he would need to drink water at that point. He's had a very long day,
True, but
but
wouldn't it have
I
been
do
better if
think
they
the
cut to
manner in which he
Ben?
chugs it, I do think is supposed to elicit a form of humor.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it just would have been strengthened if they cut to Ben, who's like sipping his water, eyeballing Mike, and then it cuts back to Mike finishing it to show like Ben's intake being in the room, just like a long take on Mike, which I think is supposed to be for a laugh.
Yeah, I'd
So
say so. Something I don't like. I know, rare. It's rarely come through here. Is the chief on his stupid stance of the military will be here in 20 minutes, although I do know the president will die in 10. Meanwhile, he has an SAS team at location and
He has he
resources to
has
utilize.
he has Banning and an SAS team. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think he would have agreed to go in.
Yeah, it was
unless he's
too much.
identifying his SAS team as the military,
No, he's not. The military is a separate asset. They talked about the SAS earlier, and I don't. I'm not the biggest fan of the frontal assault either. I feel like they would have gone through buildings or alternative
This is
routes
the
instead of
this is the most
a frontal assault in the street.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's the laziest option. I get that they can't probably go door to door because all those buildings are probably not connected. Because London just has a bunch of buildings that crop up that are like super close together, but are not necessarily connected.
Yes, but
Um,
when located on the map of this construction building, isn't it at the end of surrounded by, like, 3/4 of a road?
Yes. Yeah.
So they
A
could
chunk
come
of
at
it
it from,
is
like, 3 different
roadside.
angles?
Yeah. It's
yeah,
not
but like I
like
said,
in a
it
cul-de-sac or
feels like they're
something.
doing a frontal assault when they could just go around from a different angle.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
this is the
that's what I'm getting,
SAS.
they
They could
have
have
the angle to go at,
snipers. They don't have to do a frontal assault like this.
Yeah.
but Crimson, it looks cool.
It
It
did look
Makes
does
cool.
Mike
look
look
It was a
cool.
cool long shot.
Speaking about
it
that
was a
shot, did you guys pick up the film technique that was used?
which one?
Unfortunately, it was very apparent to me, and it could have been a lot smoother, but
Where they put the cuts in or
close. It was a long take of when Mike gets up on the car to jump into the building. Did you notice
yeah,
anything?
uh,
We'll go to
with the
Crimson.
camera?
Who? No, Crimson. Who would you say is your favorite director?
Um, I um,
I
so
ask because what comes to mind is my guess. You like a lot of their film.
um, Edgar Wright, I guess.
Hey, Edgar Wright. That's who I was thinking.
All right.
What is something pivotal that Edgar Wright does?
Well, he does a lot of quick cuts.
Actually, one could say in Last Night in Soho is one of the best examples ever done. This film.
Lots of quick cuts, lots of transition cuts, stuff like that.
Oh, you're dancing around it. Okay. Yes, the Texas switch is what I'm getting at. Either of you too familiar with the Texas switch?
Not by the
Nope,
terminology.
not
No.
by the
Okay.
terminology. Yeah.
That is when within shot, without editing, you swap out the actor for the stunt double.
Okay. Then no, I
Good
didn't pick up on it.
example. Okay, good example to pick up is in Hot Fuzz, when Simon Pegg jumps over 3 fences, but the 4th one is the stunt double, who does the front flip,
Well, Scott Pilgrim
Okay.
when Scott jumps through the
jumps
window
through the window.
and
Yep,
then it's him
that's a
running.
Texas switch.
Yeah.
Yes. So when Gerald Butler is on that scaffolding and he's running towards the camera and he goes past the frame of the camera for the camera to turn, Gerald Butler is gone for the stunt double to
To
stand up
jump
so we
into the
get the
building.
back to jump into the building.
Yeah. And I guess to be
Okay.
contrary,
Yeah,
I
that
don't
checks
think
out.
it's obvious.
Oh, to me, that one felt very like that is not him anymore because he ran out of frame.
Sure. Good catch. Sequence as a whole, I did like though.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good sequence.
How's everyone's notes looking now?
Uh, quote unquote, a page. Because being with the popcorn thing, I'm going down like things we've talked about and everything. And right now, I'm low on my second page of a 2.5 pages.
The car is bulletproof,
Okay.
So
not politician proof. No, I have to read through my notes, but I'm figuring I'm probably
All right.
running on the lower end.
All right. I will go. Sprinks, you skim. Crimson, you're gonna go next, and then you can skim.
Darn
uh,
you!
yeah. So I when they it's lucky that they just drag the president out and don't shoot Banning. That's plot armor for Banning because they have no reason to not kill
oh, absolutely.
both. They have no reason not to just take the president and kill Mike while he's like disoriented in the car. They could have done both at the same time and they didn't.
Absolutely.
So that's deliberately the terrorists being inefficient.
Did they have that? Oh no, that was Mike earlier. Sorry, I'm like in the trainway station after the grenade. He's going around instead,
Yeah.
trying to guess if like they did that, where they're like, "Oh, gotta make sure you're dead."
I mean, they do send a guy to do it, but it's
Crimson.
after the president's been extracted instead of during the
Yeah,
Yeah.
president's extraction.
get him out. Shoot Mike.
All right.
Especially
Crimson,
since
go.
Mike does shoot someone,
Oh.
so they're like, "Oh, he's still alive."
Yeah, and they would have heard it. All right, well, my point. The fight with Cameron, I think it was a cool little introduction because a lot of this has been shooting and knife fight. I wasn't expecting to get a sword fight per se. Uh, so it was kind of a change of pace with what we've been getting, and lots of explosives too. But
I
I
was
think
expecting.
the choreography was pretty decent for it, using the rebar as like an environmental, I guess, asset for
Hazard.
the fight. Hazard. That's the better use. I expected him to slam his head into the rebar and pierce his head.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. Yep.
That would have been, yeah, that was the execution I was also expecting, to be honest.
Probably
Or
would have
stick his
preferred that over
hand
the
through it and like
fire.
pull and break a bone
Yeah.
or something.
I would say I never, in with regards to Kang, I do feel like Kang gets the upper hand in that fight at certain points. I did not feel Cameron ever got the upper hand in this fight at any
No,
point.
Well, I mean, we don't even get a background on him as this fighter or anything. We don't know anything. He could just be a lackey.
Yeah,
We don't know if he's a soldier. He holds his
yeah.
own, so
I
he
mean, there's
probably
no,
is, but it's not
yeah,
anything
there's
that's
there's
been
no like,
stated.
there was no back and forth tension within the fight scene. It was
The only
very clear that from the outset that Banning was going to win it.
the only tension I felt was the gunfight later with the president shooting and Cameron
Yeah,
shooting. That I actually felt tension, like, oh, the president could actually get killed here. I can believe it, or at least get shot in the shoulder or something. It didn't happen, but I
yeah,
did feel the tension there. So I think
yeah.
he did
Definitely plot
okay.
armor too. That they run into the one shaft that could shield them from fire, quote unquote.
See, I'm a little iffy because we did have Banning look at the layout, and he did pre-plan the explosives and stuff, so he might have planned this part out to some degree. I don't think
It's
it's
just lucky that
100%
all the
luck.
guys that they shot had died on one end.
Yeah, I mean there is still luck apparent, but I don't think it's entirely luck.
So the shaft, I guess, okay, I'll concede that the shaft he could have known about.
But the guy's not hitting him
yeah,
while he crosses the hallway and stuff. That's just armor.
yeah, he's fine. Yeah, I mean, not fine, but he's fine. Yeah,
Yeah, all right,
I like.
Sprinks.
Yeah, I like how smart the identification and like sleuthing that Mike does, identifying Delta Team. He's like, they're not sweating, they're not in the right formation, and they would not. They're like too early for time of arrival.
Yeah,
Like all the clues he's picked up, I really like that.
I
Yeah.
agree. I also, it shows again, that's a very, very, like, it shows Banning's competency level without going too hard into like, it's just casual competence. Like it doesn't, it's not really him showing off. It's just him being competent at his job, and it's good. I like that.
Where is Delta?
Oh no,
I
is
have
Delta
no
even a
fucking
thing?
idea.
I mean,
Did they send a Delta Team?
Morgan Freeman said they were sending it, so it
Yeah,
did. And then the
Maybe they
enemy
wiped out all
forces.
of Delta and took their clothes.
See, I thought that,
I have.
but there's no blood on anything, and they still got there earlier than Delta would have.
Yeah, I also have no idea how they even managed to dress up as Delta. That was also a problem. um, I see. The thing is, right? Delta would have been there with the SAS team, and the the that street fight would have been a lot easier.
You know what I'm gonna say? Out of everything the movie gives, I think that's the only feasible thing. That VP said Delta's on its way. We never actually see Delta Team. The only Delta outfits are the infiltrated ones taken. I think that's really what the movie gives to go off of. and they're not incompetent to just not be there or explain that they didn't show up for some reason.
So what
Yeah.
are you saying,
I think they got
Sphinx?
wiped. I think Delta Team got wiped out, and the bad guys took their
Whew.
outfits to infiltrate.
I don't know how they would have gotten there earlier than Delta, and how they would have
I
had
don't
They
the
would have
know.
had
clean
to. They would
uniforms.
have had to. That's the issue, right? They would have had to ambush Delta, kill Delta, then get to the site ahead of when Delta would have shown up. So I don't think that's actually physically possible.
No, I think that's
Well, it's
literally
either
just a part of the movie they forgot about. Or maybe it's a deleted scene.
Yeah,
I don't know any
that's
deleted scenes in this.
deleted scene would help,
But as of
but
what we have, I don't think there's any visual clues that they killed them and took their uniforms. I think that would be the
no, but
best
there's
way to
also no
convey that.
clues to where Delta Team is.
No?
I mean, there are people dressed up in like the Army Ranger Delta looking uniforms during the SAS assault, but I don't know if that's supposed to be Delta that's with Mike and the SAS crew. They could have been the embassy task group, for all I know.
That's something they'd have to
Yeah, I
establish.
don't know.
Like you said, if you watch the action sequence again, there is a Delta looking team with them, but I don't know if that's supposed to be Delta.
Hmm.
Um,
Not a fan of it.
Oh, weird. No.
yeah, I'm definitely on the film just kind of forgot, and once you reach that level point, we're starting to get to like D&D levels of bad. And by D&D, I mean Dan DB
Excellent.
Weiss.
There you go. Yep.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. I'm like, I understood, I think.
Yeah, I'm referring to the Game of Thrones writers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Danny just forgot about the Iron Fleet. You know, that's where we're getting at here with the. They just forgot about Delta.
They're talking about the Chris Pine
Yeah, you know.
movie. I'm like, yeah, that's horrible.
I mean,
No,
It's not.
Honor Among Thieves is pretty good. But no, maybe it was Delta Team fatigue.
oh my god, that's gonna be a forever meme. Honestly, they did that to themselves.
They did.
Audience, we're referring once again to the former hit show Stranger Things.
That's the Duffers. Yeah, that's the Duffers.
All right. So everyone get a chance to review their notes.
Yeah,
How are we
I'm
looking?
pretty low.
I think I got a couple more. Yeah.
All right, I'll do two more each. I'll just go down the line, I guess. We'll start with you, Springs.
Oh boy, two more each. Well, my next point, I don't know how severe it is, but I'll go. I guess I got it loaded up. My favorite transition in the movie, because a lot of the editing I don't think is really great. It doesn't do like really hard hit cuts to the next scenes, and transitional usage is pretty much all missed. But there is one that I do like, even though it is still hard cut, is when they get in the car, the MI6 car to escape, and the headlights turn on, and upon the headlights turn on, lighting up the whole screen, it cuts to the next. I think that is the strongest and best transitional usage in this whole movie.
Yeah.
Which isn't a lot of props to the movie, but
I was about to say,
Yeah.
there's not a lot
Also,
of transitional stuff in this.
Yeah.
Pretty cookie cutter.
an adjacent scene I have, an adjacent bit I have to that, Springs, is I do like the fact that it was a UK car, because a lot of films would just forget that, yeah, they drive on the opposite side of the car. But they got
do
that
you think
right, which I appreciated.
that would have been too much of a joke if President's like, I'm driving, get in, like you're shooting, and he gets in. And Mike goes, sorry.
Dude, honestly, that would have been well timed, just because nothing's happening. I think that would have
think
that would
it
have made
would
me
fit.
smirk. It would
I feel
fit.
like I've seen that in a movie though before.
No, you have. That was in National Treasure too, with
That's what
Riley
I'm
getting in
thinking.
the car and it was on the
Riley.
wrong side.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. It's a classic joke to make for an American being in the UK.
Yeah, but him just not driving for 6 years, decent joke too.
That's a bit unique
Yeah.
to this film. Can't really use that line in a lot of other stuff.
No.
Yeah, I will jump to the war room with I want to say it's Thatch, but I'm just gonna call him Morgan Freeman.
The vice
Trumbull.
president.
Yeah, Trumbull. Thank you. I don't know why I want to say it's Thatch. Trumbull, the VP. I I know one of you complained earlier how the uh, the the weapons guy, contractor guy, just happened to just get a number to call. But I do like Trumbull's exchange, like the cooperation between the Trumbull's cabinet war room with Scotland Yard. I as much as like they lose brain cells by because of everything that's happened. I do actually quite enjoy that the cooperation, like they're working through the solutions together, and it's one of those things I think that's missing from the film is the element of like, where are all the other governments that would be contacting and trying to coordinate with Scotland Yard right now? You know, so I feel like there should be more of that in the film.
There should be, but it's
Absolutely.
American.
Yeah, British American,
America. It's all about America. We got the president.
America. Uh,
America. All right, Crimson.
America, Crimson. Um, it was mentioned that he's number 6 on the terror list. Why isn't he number 1?
That is true. Yeah.
No, I
Well,
don't
he's
really
number
care
one
about
now. That's for sure.
that. Okay, he is now, uh, which is why they took him out so quickly. I just, I feel like Amir is just so underutilized to me. It's unfortunate. He doesn't feel threatening, though they did the measures to make him a threat. He just doesn't feel threatening. Whenever he's on
Well,
screen delivering a speech or anything, it doesn't feel impactful. Why would anyone be afraid of him when he just looks like a guy and acts like a guy you would see at a grocery store? He doesn't have a presence to him. Meanwhile, Kang, he had a presence to him.
yeah. I mean, Kang is beating up people himself. He's like, yeah. So in comparison, absolutely, Amir does not have. Careful, I'm going to say this. Does not have the aura of Kang. Um, I think what they could have done to make him a bit more intimidating is have, instead of like just immediately killing a few of the world leaders off, maybe they capture, let's say, the French president and the Italian prime minister. Like maybe they capture those two instead of kill them. So then that gives them hostages to play around with. And you can have Amir, like, even though he's not there physically, he could give the order for one of them to be killed.
Yeah,
I think
some more
something like
direct
that would help
involvement.
elevate. Yeah, I think that would help elevate his threat level a little bit and his intimidation factor because he doesn't really have much. I'm in agreement with that.
Anything to add with that, Sprinks?
No, I'm in agreement. It is just overall lackluster to the whole film.
Which is unfortunate because
Uh,
usually the actor who played Amir is a pretty good bad guy and stuff. So it's kind of a little disappointing.
Oh, well. Well,
uh,
hmm.
you
Last
don't need to
note.
narrow it down to one if you got a few one. If you got a couple
No,
quick
no,
ones you want to throw
it's
out.
okay. I'll go with one last. It's kind of just like an overall question, I guess, for my last one. Of the first movie was because of what Mike did around the president. Mike was off the team. Mike was gone, and he had to like get back into the Secret Service and the team. This movie, it was his call on the resignation. Did he want to be off the team? And at the end, he's still on the team. What's going to be the third movie?
Um,
Shrug.
the job kicks him out and then keeps him
Job
in.
kicks. Ooh.
I don't know what
What if
other
like
variations
what
there
if
are.
Ben's no longer the president, but he like gives good word for Mike to be with the new president, but the new president doesn't like Mike.
Connor fires
Connor
Bannon.
fires Mike. Oh
Yeah,
no.
there you go.
Ooh.
Dad, I don't
Be
really like
pretty
how
brutal.
Banning did stuff in London. Can you get rid of him? Yeah. but he helped you, son. I don't care. I need to add conflict here.
He helped me by getting me out of this movie, not at the end, like halfway. Hmm, okay. I'm just puzzled on this third movie. This movie got enough for a third movie to be made.
Well,
I,
we all discussed at the end of Olympus Has Fallen when I posed the question if it warranted to be a franchise or even set up a sequel. And we all said no. uh,
No.
I mean, what I wouldn't have had the same characters. Like if I were to do a continue the how the Has Fallen trilogy, I would just introduce a whole new cast of characters and just focus on the British capital. So it'd be like,
Same world.
yeah, same world stuff happens. Like you can reference that, Asher's still the president. Maybe Banning is brought in for consultation at some point, like via video
Yeah.
cam or something like that. But like I would have focused on an entirely new capital and an entirely new cast of characters and Secret
I
Service
kind
thing.
of like that. That's
I don't know if we talked about
kind of
this.
cool.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about that, but I feel like maybe we did off pod or something. Did I give an example of like the Unbreakable trilogy?
I don't think you did.
So it sounds like
Mm,
that.
the
Unbreakable, Glass,
maybe,
Or
and Split.
the first movie, like
yeah,
yeah, like Olympus Has Fallen could be like Unbreakable, where it's like all these characters, that story. Then you have Split, which you don't know is connected at all, but you could have that with the names given, but completely different characters. Then the third movie, you take both films' characters and put them into one scenario together.
I kind of like what we're building here.
yeah,
The first one was America. The
yeah.
second one could be London. The third one could be Russia. And then the fourth one could be them all in this movie where they're all getting attacked.
But what if it's like you like the protagonist of the first movie, you like the protagonist of the second movie, but in the third movie, their goals are to take each other. It's
Yeah.
like who do you root for?
Yeah, that
I
would be
think we
good.
just
Do it
got a
more,
franchise.
yeah, but do it more equally so on both sides of the story than like Captain America: Civil War.
Yes, you don't want to.
Because Captain America: Civil War, it does like place it like Iron Man is doing this thing, and the movie's titled Captain America, not Iron Man: Civil War. So it's like it already gives too much away in that. Like give the third one as like equal footing ground for both sides, kind of thing. It's like
Yeah,
ooh,
You want
yeah.
it
It's like input.
to be a hard,
That's how I would continue the Has Fallen story. To be honest, yeah.
decision to choose sides. And if someone dies from one side, you actually feel like, oh, darn. That would be. I kind of like it. We should make that. Anyone got a few
I'll
million
write it
dollars we
down.
can throw out there?
me no,
No, darn.
fundraiser
Well, I mean, hey,
Kickstarter.
they want to make a fourth one, so maybe we can reach out and offer them a script
Ooh,
idea.
There you go. Yeah. Midnight Has Fallen. It's the name they're thinking if they were to make
no,
one.
it's the last one. It's the last one. It's got to be cool. It's got to be like the Halloween friend. It's just got to be called
Fallen.
just
It's gonna, it is just called Fallen.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the
All right.
first scene is the Life Alert commercial. Well, I've fallen and I can't get up.
Cheese
That
for
is, ooh, okay.
horny.
uh, let's see.
All right. Last one for you, Crimson.
All right.
Where do you want to
I
go?
touched on it. Raza. We see him in the beginning. He's introduced as one of the brothers. He seems like the competent, like older brother at the beginning. Later, he just dies as some soldier in the subway, pretty much. But I just love how Banning used him. He could have interrogated him for information once he realized this guy had status, but he just used him as a psychological warfare tool to mess with his enemy instead. Uh, it's just Banning's so
Yeah.
brutal.
Is that a problem that he didn't try to interrogate
It
him?
can be.
Or
He doesn't definitively know the status yet, but he does know there's something here with this guy. So I'm a little unsure. He doesn't know the brother's connection to the leader at this point. He just knows this is the brother of the guy on the radio. So
yeah, which is why he starts to torture him because it's convenient that he's addressing him brother, even though he's supposed to be in a tactical situation. He's like brother. You there? It's like
Yeah.
I feel like he would be speaking a different language personally, but
Oh, probably.
So are there
so
3
it
brothers?
Yes, it was
I
Braza,
Okay.
Cameron, or whatever,
Cameron
wheelchair
and
guy,
the one in
and
the
then the
wheelchair?
sister.
Okay.
I think that was the family.
Okay. Because I kinda thought, what if brother was, like, just, like, war brother? Like, brother for the cause? Not actually, like, blood-related brother?
mm,
I think from the opening,
But
they reference sister as sister, and it seems more familial
yes, the
than
sister's wedding.
yeah,
Yeah,
seems more familial than brothers in arms kind of deal,
okay.
which would make
I was
more
just
of an
curious,
impact on them hearing one of them die over the
yes,
radio.
but it would make a little more sense on the radio thing, but yeah.
Yeah, so just cool. And Mike, I gets another interrogation scene in this. It's not as good as the first one, where after in the car, he just like, tell me, where are they going? Just keep stabbing the guy, and then that's it.
yep.
Um, it's not as focused or cool, but at least it's still a trait that persists.
Yeah,
I agree. Pretty brutal as far as he's Branding is just brutal in general as a character trait when it comes to fighting. Um, let's see. I'm going through my notes. I think I you guys covered everything I wanted to cover. So, my last one is more of a joke in the sense of like where Banning saying that oh we'll still be around for 1,000 years, and it's because I study history too much. It just took me right back to like oh yeah we're gonna build 1,000 year Reich, and I don't know if I think they should have changed the dialogue for that scene.
I
It
mean, we
evoked the
talked
wrong
about it,
thing for
but
me.
it just
sure.
feels
Yeah,
a little clunky for the patriotism, which isn't
Yeah,
innately a bad thing, but it is heavy. It is heavy handed
yeah,
in this. But I can also buy Banning saying it. He's a very patriotic
yeah.
man.
I can buy Banning saying it. It just evoked the wrong images for me personally with the way it was phrased.
Yeah, I can see
Um,
that.
uh,
I'm just thinking of, like, been so cool. I'm just, like, thinking of these other things in my head, like, for that, like, killing off the other people, being that Mike, cut the ties off of Ben, and then Cameron runs away. If somehow, like, Ben got back to Cameron because Cameron was gonna kill Ben, and Cameron's, like, begging for his life, and he goes, "No, please, dad, just let me go. I'll never harm you again." And Ben's response is like, "We don't negotiate with terrorists," which is, like, his whole thing in the first movie of not talking.
that could have been something.
Like,
I
that'd
think
be
that would have been more
cool.
satisfying.
Yeah, and when
That would
Cameron
still get across the patriotism without him having to monologue.
and when
Yeah.
Cameron got away, Banning responded with, "Why does this guy never die?" Which I don't think that line has been earned yet. I don't feel like
I don't think
Cameron
Yeah.
so. He escaped
avoided
what,
death.
1 death?
Yeah, he just avoided once. uh,
Yep.
so that didn't make sense with what's been established in the film at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That could have been handled better. All right, I guess with that, gentlemen, any final questions, or can we move to summary and ratings?
Uh,
I'm good.
I think it'll fit here. What do you guys think Angel Has Fallen will be? Since you both don't know, just a
T
theory.
Well, I think Aaron Eckhart as Ben is gonna be in it, and I think Gerald Butler as Mike is gonna be. That's about it.
Uh,
I don't know what Angel is.
That's not a good theory. Okay, so
all
no
right, my
guesses.
my
All right.
premise is I think Air Force One's going to crash somewhere, and Mike's going to protect the president. I think the
And
premise is that Air Force One's going to crash somewhere, and then that's how they're
Morgan
going to.
Freeman's in it.
Oh yeah, Morgan
Morgan
Freeman's in it.
Freeman. Okay.
Actually, it might be interesting. I wonder if Aaron Eckhart will be the vice president and Morgan Freeman will be the president. President.
Can you do that? Can you be a? I don't think you can do that, right? Once you're out of
Actually, yeah,
office as
you
president, you
can.
can't. You can.
I think he can. I think he could still be VP. Yeah, If not, I think he can at least be Speaker of the House.
I feel like that's like because if you become
I
the
do not
VP of
know.
someone and then that person dies, you become president again.
I'll have to double check that. Well, you just fill out the rest of the term. I'll have to double check. I don't know if maybe Aaron Eckhart won't be the president. He might be the Speaker of the House then if he's not the
Yeah, I'm
VP.
like, that's a good point, Crimson. That seems like a loophole to just be
It
president
does.
indefinite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
you might be right.
I just yeah, I don't know. That's all I got.
Okay. And I guess with that, we shall move to summary and ratings. The question is, who should go first? Um, you know what? I'll go first. Fuck it.
Wow.
I know. I think I'm the only host that's volunteered to go first a couple times. I think so. I think Sprinks did it once
Sprinks
before,
does
but
it. I never
it's
do it.
rare when a host volunteers to go first. Um, so I will do my subjective first. I think I had more fun with this one than I did with Olympus Has Fallen. Um, but I still enjoyed Olympus Has Fallen more overall. I think it's because I was more used to the tone of what the franchise was going to be, and once Banning starts quipping like every other scene, I think I was I guess more prepared for the cheesy aspect of what this film would be. I still think this is probably going to be lower than Olympus Has Fallen. It's not a. It's a good turn your brain off flick for me. That's where I'm gonna put it at. I'm not gonna go out of my way to recommend it for any like hardcore action fans, but it's a good turn your brain off, fun scenario sort of thing. Um, I'm gonna land on a 5 subjectively. Objectively, where do I begin? The plot's a mess. Um, it's forcing its way. It's forcing the story to happen in very specific aspects. A lot of very, very, in very, very specific ways that is almost continuous. There's lots of plot armor in the story. Banning should be dead probably a dozen times over. The president as well. Um, Despite their competency, it's lucky that they survive a lot of what happens. I would say an example of like where the plot's just forcing itself. We get 2 years has passed, and that explains everything that happens. And as we've talked about in the podcast, we kind of jokingly referred to it as like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense, but like it's a huge problem in the film. Comparatively, Kang has a lot of layered logistics, and while we take issues with some of the specifics of those logistics, at least it's somewhat sensible and we can make sense of it. A lot of it here doesn't. The royal guards get swapped out. Half the police force is evil or were replaced, which is even worse, where coworkers just didn't fucking recognize each other. Um, the MI6 mole is not really enough to cover all those holes. Um, like the MI6 hole would be enough to get the scheduling of everything, which is kind of what saves the president life, which is a nice, neat detail I did like, but it really doesn't stop the train of what this mess is in terms of like its uh plot, which would be, theoretically is very basic, which is just an escort mission, but they keep fucking up aspects of that escort mission in the sense of giving them extra plot armor here and there. They're miscounting the flares. Uh, there's contingencies for the bad guys, but they once again substantially like weaken the competency of the good guys just to get them isolated. Um, and I'm putting those in quotes, by the way. Um, I would say the world building. This movie introduced what would have been an interesting world cast. The rest of the world kind of just disappears after all the heads of state get killed off, and it just focuses in on London, the not the security room, but like the war room for in Washington, and then the what's it called? The the terrorist group. Because we were introduced to a bunch of characters. They played now with that, so that's a lot of world building issues in the sense of like there we don't really see how the other world governments react to this. It becomes very America centric, which is fine for a more raw American piece, but the fact that it's not they introduce a bunch of things and don't really do anything with it, I view that as a both a plot and a world building problem because that's stuff that could have been better spent to building up characters that rather than focusing in on just the damage of what's going on. As for characters, I don't think anybody got assassinated, but I definitely think there are some nicks that went around. Um, I definitely think this movie is overall. Well, I guess some examples for nicks. The president kind of lose some of his gung ho, some of his stubborn attitude from the first one. Banning's a little bit more quippy, and I do think he does endanger the president every now and again with that. Oh man, it's just running through my head again. The skylight that just appears in a safe house doesn't make any sense. But that's not really a character thing. I'm rambling now. Uh, I think I'm at a 4 objectively. I do think there's some nicks to go around to characters. This is starting to angle towards bad for me. I probably could be talked down to a 3.5 character wise, and but I think the plot and world building are a mess, and I do think there are some nicks to the characters that go around. So I'm at a 4 objectively. And Sprinks, you're next.
Oh boy, sweet. I'll start with my subjective. This movie is definitely feels like one of those TV movies. Like a movie in theaters. If this you watch this in theaters, I feel like is a little disappointment. Um, the best case I can give this movie is that it is good as a sequel to the first. It does feel lined up in this universe. Um, but it, it just it kind of feels like the same thing again from the first movie, which I guess is the premise, and I'm guessing the third is going to feel the same. The thing that made it more unlikable to me is the heavily placed America over the film with all these world leaders all in one place, yet they're all killed off in 5 minutes, and then it's just like America rescue mission in London. That's the kind of thing that I really didn't like about it, but it's still like it's got the action, it's got the quips, it's got um the the I don't know, sustainment of the battle and the characters and but subjectively I give this a 5. It's I don't need to see it again. If this is the thing that's like it's coming back in theaters, the whole I'm not really in my way to go see them in theater. It's fine. I didn't hate it, but it's not. It's just a little below my average because I just found the whole kind of America thing for this the whole movie a little distasteful. Also, with the whole like setup of like all these world leaders and placements and little hints and everything, I feel like such a possibility for this to have been somewhere when I could have gone in at like a 7 or 7.5 if all these things were interlinked of like the characters and this worked with these people in this time and they got the dirt on these people and the mole them, but they are actually Alex. I think maybe some people a little convoluted, but I think if they structured the script a lot tighter, could have been really good. I kind of see why the original director didn't do it because of the script. Um, but yeah, a 5 objectively, I think the acting's fine. I'm still not the biggest fan of Gerald Butler being cast as the all-American man, where his Scottish comes through little pieces. Aaron Eckhart, I think, as president is very good. I do like that. Angela Bassett, I think, has my favorite scene of death. I think she acts that very well with what she has. Um, yeah, acting overall, I think is pretty darn good. Story is a mess. Writers touched on that. It's all over the darn place. I wish it was better. Um, the action's fine. The CGI I do not like. I think the CGI is really bad for 2016. Um, Let's see. Costume design's fine. Lighting's fine. A lot of blue lightings at night. Rather like the London street lamps. I guess it's just a lot of like dark blues and some lights from windows of houses to illuminate the streets. So I think that's a little artificially looking at the night shot. The fire, some looks good with the practical effects. The CGI of the fire towards the end does not look good. Cinematography is fine. It definitely could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot better. The editing, I think it's less than good, but it's not terrible. It's just very quick cut and kind of bland editing. The score, I think score is pretty good. Actually, better than the first movie. Um, I know I always leave something out, but I kind of have this on par overall with like there's some things better, some things worse than the first movie, but I also give this one a 5 objectively.
And that leaves you, Crimson.
Okie dokie. So, where shall I begin? I will do my subjective. I did enjoy this film. I find it very similar to the first one in terms of my enjoyment. I like the action. I like the comedy. Um, the characters are still like the other one to me, where I enjoy the president and I enjoy Banning. They did tweak them slightly, as writer pointed out. Banning's more quippy, a little less serious, and then the president has lost his edge a little bit. He's more of a sheep now than he was in the first one. But overall, I still find enjoyment in it. So I do find enjoyment in the characters in large. I would rather watch this one, or not this one. Olympus Has Fallen over this one, because I kind of have a soft spot for building stuff, like a one man army versus a building, like Violent Night, Santa versus the Mansion, Dread versus the skyscraper. I kind of like those enclosed environments, and then the creative ways the individual goes about infiltrating it. That is absent in this. This is an escort story, which has its own pluses and negatives, but I tend to prefer more of an enclosed environment for my action. So I still like it. It's not the same as Olympus. I have this at 5.5. Certainly watchable. I wouldn't skip it if I was doing a trilogy watch. I rarely do that anyways, but certainly wouldn't skip this. Um, Objectively, I think this is worse in most metrics than Olympus Has Fallen. I think the soundtrack or OST, the music from the first one, was good and fit it. I think it was good and fit this as well. I think the acting's the same as it was. Past that, everything else has been lowered. The visual effects lower. I brought a direct parallel earlier of the flares. I think the flares in Olympus Has Fallen is better than the flares in this, and this is 3 years later. This should be better looking flares. Uh, and the explosions, I don't think look bad, but they're not on par with 2016, as Sprinks was saying. Um, and there's a lot of effects in this, so they might have just been bogged down by how much of the budget got eaten for it. That's hypothesizing. I have nothing to back it. Don't know how much money Morgan Freeman got out of this, but apparently it was a lot. Um, the actual story of uh, how everything got infiltrated, we talked pretty in depth about. I'm not going to go too much in, but it is just unbelievable, the levels, the amount of people, the weapons, all the layers of like hacking into the system, everyone being in the right place. They even had um, what was her name again? The one that died. Had
Lynn, Angela Bassett.
Lynn. They had Lynn say there was not even a whisper, not even chatter of this after 2 years, which just shows a how incompetent everybody is, and b how presumed competent the enemy faction is. It just dumbs down everybody for this to work. I totally agree with what Sprinks was saying, where all the other nations got dumbed down or ignored flat out. The French prime minister was just on a boat exposed. He could have been shot, let alone exploded by another boat or blown up, exploded. Um, it's quite lazy. They had a goal. They wanted the U.S. president on the run on a different country. That's what they wanted. That's what they did. It sacrificed a lot to do it. Uh, in terms of the action, I guess this also belongs in the positive category. I think the combat in this is pretty decent for an action film. There's the standout moments of the knife in the eye and then pulling it out and stabbing someone else. The scene of the two guys going through the doorway that he then grabs the guns of and shoots one while the other one he shoots someone else in the hallway and then uses as a meat shield. I think that was a pretty cool quick sequence. So there's a lot of good in the combat. Then there's the unexplained stuff like Delta Force. Were they with the SAS? Don't know. Could have been maybe. Kind of the movie's job to explain that. How do the enemy faction keep finding the president? There's a lot of stuff that's happening that isn't in the favor of the film. And because of that, unfortunately, I will be putting this at a 4. It's pretty low for me for a lot of things. I I might end up regretting this because I didn't compare this to my other podcast ratings. So I don't know how this
Awesome.
will. I don't know.
Recap bait.
It is recap bait. I don't know how it stacks, but as of now, I'm at a 4 objectively for it. That'll be
All
it,
right, so we're all within the same ballpark.
roughly.
Yeah, again, we were all the same ballpark for the first one. We're all in the same ballpark again for
Yeah.
this one.
See
Now
what
the
the
third
one
one's
this
going to
does.
go
is
polar opposite. Someone giving it a 10 and someone's giving it a 1. Calling it here.
Doubtful.
it's
Highly
very
doubtful.
possible, but doubtful. All right. And with that, gentlemen, shall I read us out, or does anyone have any final thoughts to add?
I'm excited to wrap up the trilogy.
Yeah. Looking forward to what the
Yeah,
third one brings.
as am I. All right. Thank you, audience, for listening, whether it be Spotify, Amazon, Castbox, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, and Samsung. And if you want to be on a visual side of things, be it YouTube, Rumble, or frickin' Spotify, thank you for watching our PNG tubers slideshows there. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe everywhere. Tell us how much you hate our opinions or how much you love them. And as always, I've been a geeky writer,
I'm Crimson Maroon.
And I'm Sprinks.
and we will catch you next time. Later, everybody.
Bye.
Toodaloo.